Yeah, okay. So it should be good now.
Is
All
it
right,
now?
y'all. Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on, because
I'll go look real quick just to make sure.
I gotta fix this screen
Oh,
so
it
you
says
guys can see it in my 8 million tabs up there.
What is this for?
What?
734. That's weird. Okay.
All right. So the question she had was about the inland cellular. Okay. Now, let me pause this for 1 second.
Here we are. We're live.
All right. Let me share the screen. I guess I can put that. I'm trying, y'all.
Take your time. We ain't going nowhere. Ain't no worse than I am. Way better than I am, actually.
Okay.
Excuse me. Hey, Leslie, Susie, Teresa. Welcome, everybody. Happy Valentine's Day, all of you beautiful people.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Fiance still not feeling the best.
You good, bro?
Bruh.
Bruh.
You guys are crazy. I'm just.
Bruh.
Bruh.
That was closer.
Bruh.
Stab you in the heart with a fucking pencil.
All day, y'all.
Wow.
Some fucking waffles.
We just did that. We did that at the same time. Now that's getting weird, Cletus. With a pencil.
Okay. All right. So I just want to point out, okay, the person who is literally running this entire investigation is Dylan Mortensen, because everything focuses around her and her alone, in my opinion. This first thing here, the combination of Dylan Mortensen's statements to law enforcement. What I find funny is Bethany is supposed to have this like exculpatory info, right? But they don't include Dylan and her statements, right? Just Dylan's. And we all know that timeline is based upon the fact that she allegedly saw somebody coming through the home, right? The question is, though, are they potentially missing other possible perpetrators? And I'll tell you why I say this, okay? Leads investigators to believe the homicides occurred between 4 and 4:25. Now, they do take into account downloads from their phones. I don't know if those are text messages. I don't know if they're calls. Like, did they try to call the girls, the other roommates, whatever? And video of a suspect, supposed to say vehicle, but it says video, okay? So the problem is, though, for law enforcement, in my opinion, without Dylan's statement, would they be looking at vehicles that were there before 4 o'clock?
No, I don't think so.
Without her statement,
they would. Yeah, I mean, I think they would be looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of, like what 3:30. I mean, kind of what they allude to in the PCA would be reasonable.
But without her saying that.
Without her saying that, no, there would
be
no.
That's what I asked,
got
right? So without her statement,
Yeah.
they would be looking for potential other vehicles in that neighborhood all night, right? Would that not be how you would do an investigation?
Right.
Okay. Now, here's the other issue that makes me think that just because she gave this statement, there's a possibility that they are missing out on other potential people. Okay. We're looking at this, and it is the data records associated with the Inland Tower dump. Okay. This is their coverage area. And you'll notice there's Moscow and Pullman. Okay. And even if it's a prepaid, like a burner phone, the coverage area is still the same. All right. Why do you only ask for records from 3 a.m. to 5 a.m.? This was filed on November 17th.
On November 17th.
Correct. 4 days after the murder.
They asked for inland records on November 17th.
Correct.
From 3 to 5.
Only 3 to 5.
But they had come out in the public and told us that it happened between
2 to 4.
2 to 4.
Oh, shit. Whoa. That's interesting. What? I never.
So do you see what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I don't even know what to say.
He's really quiet.
He's
there
quiet?
goes your mic turned down. You're coming through.
No,
really
it's
quiet
this.
Oh, it's on us. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, y'all.
Oh, she's got the computer turned down. That's
It
why I
does.
can't hear.
So
Sorry, guys.
this is a huge part of my problem right now. Without Dylan's statement, right? They would have, which I can't even fathom in my own little pea brain, why in the actual crap you guys aren't looking for the entire evening.
Yeah, right.
So, am I crazy? Did they not pull the records of all the towers in the area at some point? Or am I?
Yes, right here.
Yeah.
This is their tower dump.
Just for inland. That's not everybody. That's just inland cellular.
Which could be the cell provider for that area.
And they might be a private company that own the rights to the area and everybody else just leases from them or something. And
it gets better.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you got my interest peaked with it for sure.
I have to find a way. Hold on, guys, because I need to add a new source so I can pull this
Mama
up.
Bear. Good to see you, Mama Bear, and everybody else that just jumped in. Thank you for joining us. It's gonna be a good show. It's getting interesting.
Let me put this down.
Make sure you guys are hitting that like button on the way in the door, please. Very interesting point. I agree, Carly.
August 17th, Inland Cellular from 3 to 5. 4 days after, they were looking at a 2-hour window.
That's it, though. Why are they only?
Well, why is their 2-hour window not consistent with what they told the public?
Thank you.
Kind of like the car.
I do agree.
Why aren't you keeping the public informed of what you're asking them to help you with? Like
I'm too loud. Sorry.
That's a little suspect.
Well, here's where it starts to get a little more freaky, okay? So they did a tower dump, right? Which, whatever, we can assume that they're right and his phone was off.
Well, that's my question. When did they do that tower dump to determine his phone was off? Because that's my question I've got right. Go ahead. You're probably going to answer it.
Well, it would have been, they did that tower dump
on November 17th.
So here's the, oh, hold on, y'all. Here's the actual paperwork, right, for this tower dump. Dang, it's covering my chat. Sorry, hold on. Let me shrink that. So, okay. All right. So right here, this is them continuing the sealing or whatever. But if we come down, it says, I'm sorry, the 16th. On November 16th, I obtained a search warrant for Inland Cellular Tower records. It was served on the 17th, okay? And this is what it says, okay? It's for, again, the data records associated with, and then it's, I don't know if that's redacted, but anyway, it is a tower dump. Now, what is intriguing about what they say, right? It starts probably, whatever, I'll just read the whole thing. Detective Lawrence Mowry, having given me proof upon oath this day showing probable cause, establishing grounds for issuing a search warrant and probable cause to believe that the property referred to and sought in or upon said premises consist records and information associated with certain cellular towers, cell towers, and records generated by the cellular network that are in the possession, custody, and or control of Inland Cellular, hereafter the service provider, a cellular service provider. This data is in possession of the service provider, and the data may contain evidence of a homicide between November 13th, 2022, from 3 a.m. to 5 a.m.
So on the 16th, 3 days after this, they hit up Inland Cellular for all records pertaining to Inland Cellular customers that would have registered on their network, trying to get information to figure out
what cell phones were
in the area, but only from 3 to 5
only from 3 to 5, which is crazy, because let me tell you something. You guys allegedly had no idea who did this. Well, is it not possible for there was a freaking axe throwing competition? One of them boys couldn't have just followed them girls home from the club, been watching them or something. You know what I mean?
Well, my two questions in my mind is still like the question of why 3 to 5. That's the obvious question, and then the second question is Brian's phone is with AT&T. So how does this? How could this have been even relevant to what y'all? And you said his phone was off for all but 12 minutes of that window. So what? I don't know. This is
well, and here's the funny part about this, right? They allegedly have him on this same tower 12 times, right? Obviously on the same tower because he was within the vicinity of the place or whatever. But what they don't ever say is that the two that they see him on this tower dump, at least not in the PCA.
Right.
His number. And get this, his number they got from a traffic stop. So not even looking at these records for this tower, because he was there the next morning.
So this is November 16th. They request this from 3 to 5 a.m. So on the 16th, they were suspect of the time frame of 3 to 5.
Correct.
On December 23rd, if I'm not mistaken, is when they got the search warrant for his phone records.
Correct. I have
from AT&T.
That's true.
At which point they track down and say that his phone was off from whatever to whatever, which just happens to fall in that same time period.
Right.
So they had his phone number from a traffic stop, not his cell phone location. So they built their cell phone.
And they did. So this is for the AT&T cell tower.
Right. Yeah. He
Mhm.
wouldn't show up on inland because he's an AT&T customer.
But it's weird because they're requesting GPS coordinates.
From AT&T.
Yeah.
Which...
It doesn't make any sense.
Oh, Lord.
No, it doesn't at all.
And look again, 3 to 5 a.m.
Wait a minute. That's for AT&T?
Yes.
And what date? Well, this is December 23rd?
No.
Oh, this is another one that they requested from AT&T.
Right. So there's obviously 2 providers.
Scroll up, there it was.
That's your continuation. On 11/16/22,
Okay.
I obtained a search warrant for AT&T cell tower.
So they did pull AT&T and Inland on the same day, but they did it for 3 to 5 a.m. only.
And what GPS coordinates?
Yeah, I mean, it, to me,
Whose?
well, to me, that says that they, I don't know, right? Like, I mean,
Like, I get the tower.
AT&T and Inland aren't going to provide you with GPS coordinates. They're going to provide you with a data dump that you have to go and figure out GPS coordinates in a certain an area. They're not going to give you specific coordinates because that's not what they do.
I gotta say though, I have to stop and say before I forget that this legitimately gets so much better. Okay, I got to cover up the chat for a minute. Which, oh, thank you for becoming a member, Dago.
I did that a long time ago.
So it says member for 1 month.
Oh,
it's my anniversary.
It is our anniversary.
It is.
Happy anniversary.
Yes. Thank you, girl.
Oh my gosh. All right. Hold on, because I will get to where I need to be.
You got Sarge when we don't have Sarge. I love it.
Right.
You guys may or may not love this. I personally love this. So look right here. This is crazy to me, y'all. I'm just saying. One of these occasions, August 21st, 2022, he was stopped by Moscow police, right? The phone was utilizing cellular resources that provided coverage to the King Road residents from 10:34 p.m. to 11:35 p.m., right? At approximately 11:37 p.m., Koberger was stopped by Corporal Duke, right?
That's the one we can't get the body cam footage for.
How does it take, no matter which way you go, 7 minutes, 7 minutes, or 8 minutes? But you got there in 2.
Because that's when he handed off to whatever sector serves that phone, that area. Because what they say, they don't say they get him on camera, right? They say they're per his phone records, he's utilizing resources. So everything they've got is based on his resource utilization.
Correct.
So he handed off into that sector 2 minutes prior to them stopping him at that intersection.
Correct.
Which doesn't mean that he was in the area of the home. It means he was in the area of that sector,
the tower.
Of that tower, which could be
excuse me, sorry guys.
It could be a
There he
couple
is.
of different things.
Yeah, I heard him.
But now,
what up?
Oh, fuck, you scared me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to curse, y'all.
There's Sarge. Yep, was handing out the D. Valentine's Day.
sorry everybody.
My Super Bowl girl.
What
Stopped by this afternoon, just went home.
Told
There you
so.
go. Now that you're all caught up on what I did for the day, what'd you guys do?
Sarge, I've been waiting all day to say this to you.
I didn't hear that.
Wait. I love you too.
He can't hear that unless he's watching, I don't think.
Oh, well, whatever.
I'm watching. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got?
Okay, so let me keep going.
All right, you keep going.
Which is crazy because it does show that maybe your location ain't your location. It's where you're handing off to a tower,
Yeah,
this tower, whatever.
It's an approximate area, right?
Right.
It's not a specific location.
So I just want y'all to look at these, okay? Do you see right here, Clarkston, Washington? Okay.
Yeah.
And here's another one, Clarkston, Washington. I'm making sure I don't miss any of these. Hold on.
You got this up on the screen?
Johnson, Idaho. Yeah, it should be.
It's not.
It's not on your screen. It's on YouTube.
All right.
Because I'm running through another.
All right. I'm going to go to YouTube.
Okay.
So your name, Clue? So it's your stream? Yeah, there you are. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought
So,
about it. All right.
And somewhere in here it mentions Lewiston. Let me see. Right here. Y'all see this? Lewiston, Idaho. Okay. Clarkston, Washington. And Johnson, Idaho. What I find hilarious is, let me pull my string back up.
What a day. Did you get your Valentine's Day gift?
She did. It did show up.
Good.
Did you ever talk to anybody, Cletus?
I did, actually. An hour and a half. I finally got through to them again. And it rang like 7 times and they finally answered the phone.
You gonna let me talk now?
Yeah, he asked me a question. So I was answering. My bad.
No, it's not.
Proceed.
You have my consent.
Look at this. Clarkston, Washington, Lewiston, Idaho, Moscow.
Damn.
All places. These are the service areas for Inland Cellular.
Well, and I mean, the thing for me, right, is that they pulled these records for the 2 pieces of this that are just crazy as hell to me. And they pull these records on 3 days after the crime. They get search warrants for AT&T and Inland from 3 a.m. to 5 a.m., which does not line up with what they told the public. But they've already got it narrowed down to a 2-hour window. They're looking for somebody. And then they don't.
That was even before the autopsy when you knew approximately what time this happened. That's what I'm saying. It's a bullshit scenario that you guys have this window based on, and you can tell it 100% solely what Dylan is telling you.
Well, so hold on. There's another possibility, though.
That's what I'm curious about.
Playing devil's advocate here. So we know they took that camera from 11/12 that day. We know they took it that day because we've seen photos where it's there and then photos where it's not. All on the 13th.
I got it.
It's possible they could have used the footage they got there to identify a time frame, right?
So what if I came up the other way? What if I came up by the dumpster, parked my car, and walked my ass to that house?
No, that's fair. The other piece of it is those phone records wouldn't implicate Brian because they say his phone is off.
Correct.
So the phone records have absolutely nothing to do with it.
Sorry, y'all. He's sick. So he don't talk loud normally, and he really don't talk loud when he don't feel good. So he's struggling. He's on the struggle bus. Excuse me, and I'm burping, so that's attractive. But all I'm saying is it's a little super weird for me that.
Well, what that implies, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you can go.
What that implies is that the kind of their statement of the forensic downloads of the phone records from Dylan and Bethany are what led them to believe the crime happened between 4 and 4:20. It's more the statement because y'all didn't get the forensic downloads of their phones and interpret what that means in 3 days.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all had a time frame 3 days after this happened.
And it was based on Dylan's statement. She is literally the one who is, no lie, running the time frame for this investigation.
When did they do the autopsies?
The
Was that
17th.
that was the 17th, not the 16th?
The 17th.
Okay.
That's it. I think.
I guess. How long did the stream run before I jumped in?
A while.
Like
Right.
2.5 to 3 hours.
Really?
Yeah, we've been on here for like half the
7
afternoon.
minutes it started.
We blew you up trying to get you in here, but you didn't want to be bothered with us. You was too
Oh my
busy.
God. With the day. Anyway,
Anyway, it has.
so what are you saying that Dylan? They wouldn't have had to do a forensic download to look at text messages or calls between her and Bethany.
I'm with you on that,
But
but
that's
that's
what they
not
say.
what they say. They say right here, the combination of DM statements to law enforcement, reviews of forensic downloads of records from BF and DM's phone, and
Right.
video of a suspect vehicle as described below leads investigators to believe the homicides occurred between 4 and 4:25.
Mhm.
So my question was, why, if it's not just Dylan, why that time frame? Because he's right. You wouldn't have the forensic downloads and you wouldn't have already gone through them in 3 days. You wouldn't have all the video scrubbed and be going through it in 3 days. Hell, you guys still 15 months later ain't even put the audio and the video together in one of your sources.
Well, and I find it hard to believe that let's say that talking about looking at that video footage from 11/12, let's say they were looking at that. I find it hard to believe that no other cars came into that area between 1:56 and 3 a.m. You know what I mean? Because that's what that would imply, is that if they base this off of the video footage, that would imply that nobody entered that neighborhood from 1:56 when the girls got dropped off until 3 a.m. when they started the search window.
But yet there was a DoorDash.
Yeah.
Well, just before around 4 a.m. the DoorDash happened.
Oh, yeah, that's right. But
What?
the DoorDash was just before 4 a.m. So what I'm
around
getting at
4
is they basically negate an entire hour of time.
Which is crazy because they say his car is driving around at 2 something.
Leaves.
2:47 it goes off. It goes off. Network, comes back at 4:48 a.m. but down south of south of
But he drove around this neighborhood too, is what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they claim he did. In that gap of time, but between 2:47, when's the first time the car was seen? 3:29 or something?
3:28, I think it was.
I think it's
Right. So
3:28.
what did he do? Where did they got him anywhere else? This is why I think the car that went off network is because he didn't go where people think he went. I
Well,
think he drove out of the area and he was in a dead zone.
And see, I've been mistaken this whole time. What?
Sarge, he just said it. Like, I'm telling
he
you,
went
the
into
fact
a dead
that
zone.
they got him in Lewiston, Clarkston, and that is where Inland Cellular is.
Mm-hmm.
I have said from the beginning, it is very possible that he has dead zones in Moscow.
Yeah.
100% possible.
Yeah.
I suspect he didn't go to Moscow, is what I'm saying. He headed in that general direction, but then he turned and broke away. He either went north or south of it, or continued right on past it and got into a dead zone. And then he showed back up where he showed back up way down the fucking line. But, that's what I think. I don't know.
So you're
Okay,
saying,
so
he didn't
Sarge,
even. I'm sorry.
the reason that I wanted to bring this up is because if you look on the screen, on the 16th, they requested a tower dump for Inland Cellular and AT&T, and they limited it from 3 a.m. to 5 a.m., which means they are solely going on the timeline that Dylan provided them.
Well, wait a minute. What's GPS coordinates distance from location half a mile?
From the house, I'm
So
guessing.
they're looking
within half a mile of that house is what they're looking for. A half a mile, y'all.
y'all just told them.
I do want to throw something out real quick, guys. When Rory went to Moscow and was around about Moscow and took the routes and all this, there were a whole ton of dead spots. Okay, especially out and about in that outer realm of area, lots of them. So that's just something to keep in the back of your mind. You know what I'm saying?
So Betty Boop, I don't understand why you're like tripping right now, but the winner was a woman who called in. Her name is Jennifer Hansen. She does in fact come into this chat. She called that night. Matter of fact, I think she might have been the last caller before maybe Anna Lee came back up.
What does that mean?
I don't know. She's all on this dating thing. The winner is someone who don't even come into the chat. That you're wrong. Sorry.
Yes, she does. She's in both of our
If
chats.
you don't like the fact that I'm saying that, then you know how to remove yourself. Anyway.
Well,
and what you're saying, Dago, is correct, because did you notice when Lana was up there
Yes.
and she was trying to do that testing with Bella on the screaming?
Yeah.
Like her service was complete crap. And she even told me, she was like, I have a lot of video to upload, but I can't do it until I get home. So, and also I've seen JLR up there roaming around the house. And I just watched this boy, y'all, I'm not kidding, in Texas. All the time he was down there looking at the National Guard, feeding the dog by the gate and everything. Perfect service, like no issues. He goes in front of that house and literally his entire screen just goes blurry as crap. The service up there is pure butthole.
It's crappy.
The thing that I've had wrong in my mind forever with this was that they got that they I never really connected the true path that his cell phone played in this, because
it's not
for some reason I guess I just was ignorant in thinking about it, but they never connected his cell phone to this in any way, shape, or form.
No.
They tracked it backwards once they had once obviously the IgG.
Right. And you can totally tell that.
Well, and the thing about it is, right, I would say that an argument could be made with 22,000 of these cars in the area. Let's just go with it is the car. The odds of another one being within a half a mile from a tower.
There's one up there. Like, think about it. Let's just do the math on this, okay? Mark B has gone there. He has gotten a Carfax report on a lime green Hyundai Elantra that sits in that parking lot. Guess what? If you were to run that car through the registration, I promise you the color that comes back is white.
It is, yeah.
Because you don't go in when you get your car wrapped and say, oh, I changed the color of my car, DMV. They don't do that.
Yeah.
Nope, they don't.
So then the question is, ultimately, why did they narrow it down from 3 to 5 the day before the autopsy? And you're left to assume that it's Dylan's statement.
100%. It's Dylan's statement.
Yeah.
You know, I want to make this observation just so you guys, these cars that they brought up that they were looking for, that 11 Honda, they said they were looking for the car because they may have information. Now, they've never said anything about Blake Avenue, Taylor Avenue, Nez Perce Drive. Right. Here's what I want to point out. There is a parking lot 775 feet away from that home. They would make a casual stroll possible for you to leave your car there and then walk to the home and do these deeds. It's very convenient. I mean, it's like, you know, parking your car and walking to the mall. So I wonder if when they say that they're looking for that one vehicle and they're scanning videos and they found the Honda Elantra, they're not claiming that is the car. They're just saying that car may have seen something, and that may be in reference. It's possible they saw somebody walking into that area at night, someone on foot. That may have been the questions they had for that particular Elantra. The thing that throws me into the weeds with their PCA is their timing is consistent with the Linda Lane footage of cars moving around in there. So it's really effed up. As far as the validity of Linda Lane, it's got to be accurate because it matches the PCA. And it can't be Brian because it's two different cars, neither of which are his. So what the hell is it even doing in there? Right? So I guess what I'm doing is I'm showing you that even a reasonable argument for the 11 to 13 to be real still doesn't help their case. It kind of hurts them because the way they write it, they claim he parked behind that building. But we know because of Gitta that car at that time that parked behind the building was a Chrysler. So you see what I mean? Everything they've done is just so screwed up that it matches stuff, but it matches everything that would help Koberger. The phone argument where you're saying the pings and the locations they're claiming he is. Well, they have no location information for 2 hours.
Well,
right.
And the thing,
So where the hell was he?
Well, what's odd to me is the same exact thing happens the next day. But they got him in Lewiston and Clarkston and Johnson.
Okay. Are those
again where Inland Cellular is prominent?
well,
Okay.
at the end of the day, the thing to take away is that the distance from location, which I'm finally glad we see this, right? That they're asking for anybody that's within a half a mile.
Right.
Anybody that could be within a half a mile, right? That's a huge bubble when you think about it, right?
2,300 feet from the house out, almost 2,300 feet.
And I would venture to guess that if you went on Google Earth and you drew a line from that house to say, I don't know, a main road in Moscow, you're probably going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of that distance.
yeah.
Yeah. You're
So I mean,
250 feet from Taylor Road.
yeah. So I mean, I you know, it's just I can't see how the defense can't fight this thing all day, and it's unfortunate, right? Because if he did this,
As a matter of fact, listen, you could be on Route 95, which is only 2,330 feet away from that house. Well, it's just within the half-mile radius measurement.
it's how far?
Route 95 is 2,332 feet from that home.
Well, there you go.
Right. So what I'm doing is I'm swinging around. Yeah, and there's really nothing to get you out of it. Well, there is. You can connect yourself almost down to there. But Taylor Road, Sweet Ave, Nez Pierce Drive, all of these things are within that half-mile radius.
Yeah, because he came in on 95. So if he's coming here,
No, he left on 95.
They claim
They don't
he
tell.
left.
They don't tell
no,
how he.
I thought
came
he
in.
came.
They do not
they
tell.
said, hold on.
He appears at 700 Indian Hills.
Mm-hmm.
He appears magically. He fucking teleported from Pullman.
Which we saw is
28 minutes after the crime.
right across from the police station.
Right.
I was gonna say it's right across from the police station. Okay, just in case y'all didn't know where he allegedly appeared. I'll show you. Actually, how do I end the directions?
Click that X at the top.
No.
Yeah, just to the southwest of that.
Oh.
Right there to
Right here.
Yeah.
So he appears right here. Can y'all see that? You get out of here.
He appears
Right here at 700 Indian Hills. There's the Moscow Police Department.
And where is it that he appeared?
Right here.
Right there. Huh. Maybe he was in there having coffee.
If you look at the thing, like, why would you just all of a sudden? Because if you say he came in on 8, right? I don't even know if that's possible. Say he came in on 95 right here. Why would you come to the right, go sorry, I thought all that was on the screen for y'all. You're at 95. You pass by the police department.
Main arteries. Yeah.
You come here and you come down in this neighborhood for what? For
Where's
what?
Moscow? Where's the house in relation to that? Pull that center that
Right here.
You already passed it.
Oh, I did pass it.
Right there. Top. Oh, right there.
Right there.
That's Indian Hills, but where's the house on
No,
King Road?
this is the house.
He's behind. Remember, he can't see that.
Oh yeah.
Oh. Okay, I see Taylor Avenue. I see the house. I see it. Yep. But he left on Willenta Drive, according to them.
When he left.
When he
We're
left,
talking about
we're talking about when he shows
when
up.
he shows up. He shows up at 700 Indian Hills
Let me do it. this
Drive.
way.
I know. At what time? At what time was that? It was 2:48 in the morning, or 4:48 in the morning.
No, it's 3:26 or something.
320. I think it was 320. Yeah, 326. Sorry.
Yeah, so he shows up, what I can assume, on this house camera. Right? I'm assuming someone in this neighborhood has a camera. But it's like, where did you come from? Like, why would you go down in this neighborhood? It makes no sense at all.
No, I think they're picking up another vehicle that's not even his, just a white Elantra.
Well, I think they're taking the 3 to 5 time frame and building a case on some poor bastard based off of
Agreed.
what the one roommate who didn't call 911 for 8 hours told him.
Agreed, 100%.
Which is crazy, right? Like it's just, that's nuts. What the hell are you doing? Because you didn't even have his phone number. You didn't even like. Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you the biggest thing to me. Moscow PD and Washington State University, they work hand in hand. Like they team up to do SWAT work.
Yes, they do.
When WSU calls you with this guy's name and the make and model of his car, y'all don't even give two flying fornications about it. You don't. Y'all don't do nothing with that info.
Yeah.
Not a darn thing.
Your banner at the bottom is going backwards.
So the basis of this, so based on
it's going backwards right now, but it
goes back and forth.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, see, that's more high tech than you're probably used to seeing. So
the theory behind this, or not the theory behind this, but the thought behind this is that this possibly could change the timeline.
Oh, 100%. If you take Dylan's statement out of it,
right,
from 156 to the next morning is when this could have happened.
Okay.
Why does her statement have to be I mean, why is what she's saying?
Because they filed the search warrants that were specifically from 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. with Inland Cellular and AT&T pulling phone records from 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. only. And they did that. They got that search warrant on November 16th, 3 days later. The only other possible thing that they had at that time was the camera footage from 1112 or Linda Lane, if it's real, right?
Yeah, but they would have pulled that data anyways. I see what you're saying, though. They're basing the 3 to 5 on her story.
Right. If you're a cop and you're trying to investigate something, why wouldn't you dump the tower and everything connected to it
the whole night?
The whole freaking night.
Right. You would have pulled all records for the network in a great, as big of a damn area as what they did for the Elantras, right? You'd have started wide. I would imagine. I mean, I'm not a cop, but that seems to just make sense to me, right? Why wouldn't you?
I would say
from scratch.
I would say that whole 24-hour period. That's
right.
You would think at least that, right?
Yes.
So if for you to narrow it from to a 2-hour window means that you've got something that indicates that 2-hour window, and 3 days in, the only two things that could have been were video footage and Dylan's statement.
But the better you can narrow it, I would have went from midnight to 6 because I had no autopsy reports on time of death.
Well, and even that would be more reasonable than a time frame that is different than what they were publishing to the public at that time.
That's why I said like that whole 24-hour period. I would have just dumped it all and just let it go. I mean, I know that sounds like a lot, but not necessarily. That's
I
just
mean,
my
none of it is a lot if you're trying to get justice
opinion.
for people that have been murdered. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go through whatever you have to go through. Because
Right,
here's
but you want to be
the
sensible. You don't download 24 hours of data when you can narrow it down to 2, 4, 6, 8 hours, right?
Well, I
You
would think,
definitely want to start in close and move out.
yeah, but I think if you're going to request the data dumps, it would be smart to request it all and then narrow it down within what you get, narrow that down to the time frame that you really want to focus on, and then go
Right.
backwards. Would seem to make sense, because it is possible for those data dumps to disappear. It's highly unlikely, but I'm just saying it is possible. I
You
don't
got
know.
no suspect. You got nothing. You know what I mean?
No, I'm with you. I'm trying to think of what like other possibilities that could have helped them narrow that down. But I'm also trying to understand why they were so specific in that time frame, but were telling the public between 2 and 4 a.m. You know what I mean? Like that.
I mean, why'd they tell us to look for 11 to 13 Alondra, even after they found out it could be a 15
Yeah.
or 11 to 16?
Can I just say, I think this is where we're making an error.
Okay.
Okay. They looked for the 11 to 13 for information on things they may be able to help the investigation with. There's nothing stating that the 11 to 13 is involved in the crime. We're making that assessment because they got Brian Koberger with a 15. You see, in other words, we're imposing that definition on the sequence of events, and I don't think that that's correct. I don't think we should do that. They're independent of one another. Okay, that's the way I view it. And then, but then here's where you get the kick in the nads, right? Is when you see the Linda Lane footage, it lines up with the PCA, so it makes us believe that car you're looking at in the parking lot is Brian Koberger. But I don't think so. I don't think that's. But and that's what I'm saying. We know that's not his car, and I'm confusing myself. If Brian would have had a Ford Bronco, this would have been easier. Let me just point that out. Okay.
Let's take the car specifics out of the equation, right? At the end of the day, on November 16th, the only thing that you realistically should have processed at that time would have been statements from people in the area, including the 2 surviving roommates, right, and possibly camera footage that would have given you an indication of vehicle traffic in the area at that time, or in a time frame consistent with what the roommates tell you.
Right.
So but even for you to evaluate that time frame, you have to be basing that off of what the roommates tell you. So at the end of the day, Dylan's statement and the times she's speaking of have to be what they base this whole damn thing off of. And if she's wrong in that, which, considering everything they say she says is an approximation, approximately 4 a.m., approximately whatever, right? Like that, I don't know. And then you look at the dates of when they did the search warrant for AT&T, and based on his phone number and all that, it's all December 23rd, which is obviously after they got the IGG. I don't know. To me, I think I can understand why Ann Taylor says she doesn't see how they got to him, how they identified him.
Right. Nothing in the PCA identifies Brian Koberger. I mean, we can clearly accept that. Nothing written in that documentation, if looked at, shows you a Brian Koberger connection at all, until they hit it up with the DNA.
Well, the only way it does is if Dylan's time frame works. That's the only connection. Is
correct. Without that time frame, that car is just another car on a video.
Right.
Right. Or whatever yeah. But then the cars they're identifying in the PCA, the time slots that they're identifying, is almost ridiculous, because if they're basing it off any of the video that's been released to the public, then they can't have identified his car. You know what I mean? They identified him at 2:47 a.m. That's the last time they had hide or hair of the guy.
Yeah.
Nothing connected to the time of the crime scene at all, anywhere. Which you have to consider. How the hell could they have not picked him up on some other camera somewhere in that area?
Right.
Right?
No,
Was the
especially,
data police?
100%.
especially coming into town. Like, there's
Right.
no way he would not have passed by a major intersection traffic camera that they have in that town on his way to 700 Indian Hills. I mean, his car did not just teleport from Pullman to 700 Indian Hills. That didn't happen. He didn't drive through the tunnel between the towns, you know.
And he is not Captain Kirk, and the car isn't the Starship Enterprise.
Right.
Well, look at where the police station is. Y'all don't have cameras outside your damn police house.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to point out. Remember the other night we were talking about the Banfield, and somehow it came up that they were security or not real cops.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They have to be real cops because they have the body cam. Of course, they're real.
That's the only thing
Right.
that makes me think, yes, they
Okay.
probably are cops.
All right. All right.
Now,
I'll
were
bet
they
you
put
exactly where
there? Were
So
they
if
put there to be a distraction? Maybe. Because
Yeah. So I got a question. What you think? So the timeline came before. The timeline from Dylan was first, and then they matched it up to what they could find on cameras and cell phones. Is
Yes.
that accurate?
Well, they matched it up to what they could find on cameras. They didn't match anything on cell phones until sometime between November 29th and December 23rd, which
Right.
alludes to, you know, I think it's safe to say that when they got the IGG back on the 22nd or 23rd is what I'm assuming, they instantly were like, okay, we got the name Koberger. Let's see, you know, what that pulls up. Oh, it pulls up this car from WSU, and it pulls up this phone number from this traffic stop we had in October,
that
or August, or
doesn't-
whatever.
I don't agree with that. And I'll tell you, I think that the IGG had the Koberger name before they started looking for a match.
Well, and I'm not
because
saying
we're
you're
told-
wrong. I'm saying, speaking through the logical progression, if we believe everything they've laid out for us, right?
What about the
That's what we're
woman that said
just-
they brought Koberger and thrown his name around about the 13th of December? That wasn't it one of the parents or somebody?
Yeah, that was Christy
His name
Gonzalez.
came up 13th or 15th,
My-
whenever I said that.
My only problem with that is I just don't know how much I believe that. I don't doubt that they told her that. I just doubt the accuracy in that statement.
You know, I had an interesting call with someone I'm not going to mention, and it includes Dylan's involvement, but not quite the way that I painted it. But it's kind of interesting when you realize the nationwide drug roll up against that sorority that was taking place, that started in Pennsylvania. I don't know if you guys are aware of that, but that sorority in that town is nationwide. It's connected to a lot of universities. There's some in Pennsylvania. They nailed one in Chicago.
Mhm.
They were connected to a big drug smuggling ring. You guys know that?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So I wonder if, in fact, and I
Wait,
say
who was that again?
Sigma Chi.
what? Who?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I misheard what you said. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I wonder if, in fact, there's a couple of things that make me wonder, and I've said this way back in the beginning with Dago Stream. It sounds to me like this was done by enforcers, and the enforcers were uniformed people. In other words, if Dylan's involved at all, she's on the wrong side of the law, and the wrong side of the law is the law, and they did this. And this is their attempt to cover it up and bury it by putting it onto somebody else like this, somebody that they could put ancillary connections to and build a case against somebody that didn't do it at all in connection to that being a central hub of distribution, that area of Idaho. Okay.
Right.
That seems like a pretty strong thing to look at. I don't know if there's any validity to it, but you're not making leaps of faith or guessing, because that's exactly part of, in some way, shape, or form, it's got to be part of the nationwide problem that sorority was experiencing, I think, and it would make sense. I'm here to help. The way they dress, I said this in your stream way when I first came around. When they come and hit your house at 3 a.m, 3 to 4 a.m. is the time they hit criminals, or they go to do a secret strike, because you're the most groggy, you're the most susceptible, you're most likely sleeping. And that's when they hit their targets. This isn't just the military, it's the police do this. And they dress all in black. And they come in and they do their thing. Could somebody have come into that home that was openly identifiable? Okay, it's okay, I'm here to help corner these kids into this tragedy. And then, I mean, maybe the exculpatory, I don't know what Bethany's got, but forgetting Bethany, the idea that Koberger, you got to create these horror stories of him, and you got to make leaps of faith about what he did and do. You can't see anything in his life, but he did all of this to do this. His whole life is based on this event of a quadruple homicide, all in the same house, all at the same time. These are the leaps of faith that you have to make to accept that argument. And then they come up with some nonsense transfer DNA. It doesn't seem to me like it could be possible, but it just seems like, man, it's just so complicated. It's as if you walked into a little house on the prairie neighborhood that had never seen a crime ever. And this place is loaded with drugs. You got the young man that was killed by drugs sold to him, allegedly by Bailey and the other dude. This is a huge drug hub here. And this somehow has nothing to do with it.
I gotta stop real quick. Mikey, thank you. He's gifted 2 memberships, and they went to Julie Dunn in upstate New York. Welcome to the Clue Crew. Oh, sorry, Sarge. Do you want to?
Yeah. Ready? Welcome to the Clue Crew. I tried, but I couldn't do it.
Oh man,
I'm New York. I'm sort of in that area.
I don't know. I feel like it just seems bigger than Koberger. Like, I don't know how. I'm so not the person that's really quick to jump in on the whole like drug thing, but it could be. Right. But it has always seemed like so much bigger than Koberger. I don't know if it's like Scott Green calling shots. I don't know if it's the police taking out hits, but it is literally like, it just feels like there's something else behind it.
I'm not gonna, I honestly, I cannot go there. I just can't, because
you got to talk up and down.
I don't agree that it was him, or that they have evidence supporting that's makes him convictable. I don't agree that. I don't think there's any way 12 reasonable people can convict this guy based on the evidence they've got. I'm not sure whether he did it or not, right? And I can't go down the road of what it could have been, because that's the unfortunate part with this in my mind, is I firmly believe if he did it, he's going to get away with it. If he didn't do it, whoever did it's going to get away with it. And at the end of the day, we're never going to know who it was.
Well, how about this? It may not be just so much bigger, but from day one, I really, and this is the one thing I hope and pray for in this case, I want to see Dylan Mortensen on the stand. Like, I want to see this girl talk about what happened that night.
I think everybody does. Yeah, I agree with that.
And unfortunately, I'm with you. I don't think
it's going to be shown.
I think that is going to be one part where Judge is like, yeah, you're not turning the camera on her.
Which no, but you're going to be able to. He can't deny access to hearing that.
Well, no, we can hear it, yeah, but I want to see it. I want to see that girl on the stand.
I don't think you're going to have to. I think you're going to. If they put a skilled lawyer up against Miss Mortensen, she's going to crumble.
Jay Logston, it would be the best one for that. 100%.
I disagree.
Janet, hold on. Janet, welcome to the Clue Crew.
I think Jay's
hold on.
Oh, sorry.
Welcome to the Clue Crew. I
He's
gotta
gonna never
sound
do
like
that again.
sound like someone kicked me in the balls or something, but I tried.
I think Jay is a little too easy to see coming, whereas I think Ann Taylor would probably be the better person to actually ask the questions.
Yeah, but that, like, well, the only reason why I said that was that comment that he made at the last hearing where he said, they're basically trying to kill somebody. I think that's right out front and blunt. And I think if you question somebody with that mentality, I guess you could say, or not mentality, but that
I think
that
we're heading
persona,
down we're never going to know who did this. Someone just said that in the chat room, and I think that that's accurate. That we're never going to know who did this. And this particular police force and that particular state with that particular state police, we already know of at least two situations where they concoct some story, right? Now, who knows what's the truth is, but they lied. They withheld evidence. They blatantly lied about it, right? I mean, that's just insane. And the next thing you know, they're in on this case. I just have a hard time thinking that there's no involvement in that, in this particular area with that particular issue, with the sorority being nailed nationwide, and this being the area that it is, this is a coincidence. The serial killer just fell out of the sky, he parachuted into your midst, and after 8 years of studying criminology, he becomes the guy.
Right.
That's just a hard pill to swallow. Maybe not for Clue, but no comeback. Come on, I set it up. The picture's up. You're right.
No, I do agree with that. I also kind of agree with the person in the chat who's like, we'll never know who did it.
Yeah.
Like it is. Point. It's almost like sometimes I feel like they set Brian up to know that Ann Taylor was good enough to get him off. I know that sounds crazy. It sounds crazy when I say it out loud. It sounds crazy when it comes in my brain. But if they were covering something, they would want someone there and get to him the wrong way so that he could walk. But with whatever somebody did, it's still covered up because they tried. We just didn't get him the right way, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, and it's hard living in modern times, surrounded by the corruption that we see happening all the time, even in our own communities with these officials, whether they're district attorneys, whether they're chiefs of police, whether they're senators or congressmen, or they're city council. These people are constantly getting intertwined and pay for play constantly. It's nonstop. It isn't like, oh my God. People focus on the federal government and say, don't talk about politics. But what about our local politics? What about these criminals? Right? It's like these nuts are the ones that matter, not those nuts in Washington. And it just seems to permeate all over the place, right? And it's insane that you would have this kind of chaos inside of the country all over the place like this. I got a local town board member. Listen, this is crazy. I would have bought this mall. It's got to be 1 million square foot building. It's massive, new, modern. And the company that was going to develop that property and turn it into hotels and other things got behind on their taxes for $2 million. They put the property up for auction. I didn't go look at the property to bid on it because I'm figuring they're going to start their bid at $2 million. Nope. No one showed up but a sitting town board member, and he bought the whole building for $50,000. In addition, he also signed a contract with that town to cover the renovations and the rehabilitation and the relocation of the town offices onto that property. What? I could have bought that building for $50,000. I would have paid $500,000 for that building. I would have bid that guy until his pants fell off. And now you have a town board member leasing and making his money from the taxpayers that are paying to renovate the building that he bought for nothing. This is going on all over the country. And you mean to tell me that it would be unreasonable to think that something in Idaho, Miscall, Idaho, you don't have these people in charge of the college, these people in charge of the police department, these people in town being a mayor, these people. You don't think that these people there couldn't be people in charge of the cahoots, all the drugs and sex moving through their county? I don't accept that, man. I think that's probably the number one thing that probably should be looked at over and above any of the people that were in that house. It's sad, man.
Pickle, I wish I could explain what it's like being here for all of Sergeant's rants.
Yeah.
At least I'm not ranting about panties being too tight, or
So
things are non-coherent. I think I make sense, and I think I hit the relevant points. So
No, you do. I'm just
my
I'm
rants
messing
are
with
bad.
Pickle.
I'm just passionate because I feel like it's such a tragedy. We live in such a great country with so much opportunity, and these criminals worm their way into places that are just, oh my God, awful. Just sad.
I know at the end of the day, the one thing that I take from this with the whole cell phone thing, and it's not really take from it, but it adds more to my frustration with the fact that they definitively rushed an arrest. Now that I know that 3 days later they retrieved cell phone data for a 2-hour window, like only a 2-hour window, and they didn't retrieve another dump until December 23rd, and at that time they requested it for a bigger window.
Oh,
and magically 6 days later they get a arrest warrant for this guy who's not even in the state. Like it's just, y'all rushed an arrest. You built the case around a guy
Right.
that fit the time frame that your eyewitness gave you, and it's unfortunate.
I forgot that I wanted to show you guys this. So IGG, right? This is a list of literally criminal cases that have been solved with IGG. There's 651 criminal cases involving 313 individuals. Okay. Now, look whose name is right here. Y'all see that? Koberger.
What does it say?
Brian Koberger, 4 cases, 4 open, Idaho, earliest case 11/13/22, arrest date 12/30/22. IGG org, they list as FBI.
Which is accurate.
Right. So when you open this up, it gives you like a rundown of the case, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it talks about the DNA. But what I found interesting was developed from biological tissue located on the button snap of the knife sheath, right? The DNA profile, well,
Stop
K-bar,
right there.
what?
Hold it. Biological tissue is skin cells.
Right. That's why I said, now I don't know where this place gets their information. You know what I mean? Because they
Right.
do have some things wrong in here, right? Like they have, where is it? Something about the girls being in the bed together, but they say that they were in Kaylee's room right here. Kaylee Gonsalves was found deceased in the bed in her bedroom on the 3rd floor. Lying next to her was the body of Madison Mogan. But that's wrong, right?
Right.
So you got to wonder, like, where do y'all?
Yeah.
Do you just take an article and write everything? But they talk about the knife has never been found. The DNA was submitted to CODIS, but there were no hits.
I got a question about this.
Mm.
How many of the cases, did the FBI do the IgG on?
14 or 18. And I went through because what's weird is that we know they used Othram, right? So if you come back to this thing right here, I find it so like here's FBI, FGU, whatever. And then another one, FBI. They have Othram in here. So I'm just curious why they don't list Othram with the FBI.
Because Othram just developed the S&P profile. They didn't do
the IgG.
Right.
And so someone in the chat room said that the biological tissue is more than skin cells. And you're absolutely right. But in fact, skin cells are biological tissue. There's no question about that whatsoever. Biological tissue can come from your liver, your lungs, your heart, your kidney. True. However, in the context of this particular crime, the tissue is not going to be anything more than skin cells.
And so in this paragraph, they say the FGG investigation was conducted by the FBI in partnership with the Moscow Police Department. At first, an unnamed private laboratory was engaged to generate a SNP profile and perform the genealogical research. So how did the FBI, they say the FBI did the IgG, but, and that was true. They sent it to that lab, but then the FBI, so listen what they say. It was later determined that the FBI would take over the investigation. There is something really strange with that.
No.
Because Othram is listed in here as being able to do IgG.
Right.
Why did the FBI have to take over this?
Okay. If you read some of the documents from the Department of Justice, when they work in conjunction to use genealogy in a crime, not a cold case, a crime, an unsolved act of crime, the FBI gets involved. I think that there's a defining line there where that local police department will work with the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Well, that's my point, though. Why even put it out there in the damn atmosphere that this private lab is going to do the IgG? The FBI was called the 15th of November.
Well, the lab. Did they ever put out that the lab did the IgG, or was that something? I know what that.
I thought they did, but that's just me.
I always thought the FBI did the IgG. That's always been my understanding. And the reason is, go ahead.
See, even Stevie Irwin, Othram did the IgG. That's what I thought in the beginning, and that's what everybody was saying.
Well, I remember when the Othram thing came out, right? When the whole IgG thing came out, and that's what was talked about, was that Othram Labs was engaged to do it, but the court filings allude to something else, right?
I don't know. Othram created Othram's claim to fame is taking minuscule particles and creating that profile you need to do IgG. Once they created that profile, once they were able to do that, the FBI stepped in and said, give us your information. We're going to do the IgG. Thank you. Then the FBI has already responded to information requests. And in their response, they said they didn't save any of the work that they did because they didn't have an open case. It wasn't their case. They were doing this as like they're a tipster. It's really basically, it's like they called a tip line, but they've already said they didn't save any of the search information or data that they accumulated while coming to the conclusion it was Ryan Kohlberger or the Kohlberger family. The whole reason this case is the mess that it's in is because the local police and their precedent and their warrants used the FBI information as a charging instrument. They used it to get the warrant, and they're not supposed to do that. And the reason it goes from Othram to the FBI is because the FBI can now take that and not be limited by they tell us they follow the law, but they're not technically limited. So what they'll do is the FBI then runs an IgG in databases that they should be notifying people that they're in. They don't. And then they give a tip to the cops. And we're not supposed to know the FBI is doing this. That's the whole point. And then that tip is supposed to be investigated and either confirmed or thrown away. So that the tip they create, they realize can be wrong. It's up to the local cops they give the tip, the name to. Hello, this is Joe Blow. We got an info. I suspect you should look at Mr. Koberger. That's what the FBI's work is supposed to amount to. And in this case, it went beyond that. That's where all this cluster F is going on. Where she's fighting for the IGG and they're telling us you can have this, you can have that, you can't have this, you can't have that. This is what's going on. They're hiding I think what would be the misbehavior of the FBI.
I don't know what in the heck they're fucking up out there, but
Yeah,
so I'm gonna keep going. The FGG investigation was conducted by the FBI in partnership with Moscow Police Department. At first, an unnamed private laboratory was engaged to generate a SNP profile and perform the genealogical research. It was later determined that the FBI would take over the investigation. The initial confirmation was made to DNA belonging to Brian's father, and that was taken from the trash outside of the family residence in Albright, Pennsylvania. Kinship testing indicated that the subject was most likely the father of the suspect whose DNA was found on the K-bar sheet. The final confirmation was made by comparing the DNA found on the knife sheath with that of Koberger himself, right? Basically saying the probability that that DNA, whatever, would be found on any other human selected at random. They talk about the other evidence, right? Phone records from AT&T that Koberger turned off his cell phone. 2 residents of the home who survived the attack. 1 DM heard crying upstairs. That's wrong. Saw a male walk past her. Talks about the male and a latent shoe print, right? And then they talk about the surveillance video. And this part I found really interesting. Investigators have stated that Koberger had sent one of the female victims several direct messages on Instagram to which she did not respond.
right. I don't know where they got that from.
I don't either.
I do want to reply to somebody said something in the chat room. Here's how the FBI can say they're a tip. Just so how this should work is this. The FBI does what they do, however they do it. It's none of your damn business. They give the investigative team a name, and the investigative team is then to go and confirm that that particular name is connected to this crime, which could include even swabbing them for samples. And this is where this is what enlightened me to the case. They did swab Koberger and confirm the DNA match, but they only had done that once they arrested him and charged him. They didn't do it under an investigative lead. They treated the DNA and the genealogical work as evidence that he committed the crime directly and that they would go arrest him directly. And that's the order that I think is wrong here, that they should have checked Koberger without arresting him. And only then, once they were able to build a case against him, then file the charges and arrest him. They did it backwards, in my opinion. So the way the FBI handles their tips and the way you're supposed to operate with that tip is not what happened here.
Well, I hate to tell you this, but that's correct. I'm sorry. I tried to come in like I was really paying attention, but I was really reading comments. But were you saying that they should have like got a sample from him and matched it directly and then went and got him?
Yes, they should have. They should have done an investigation with that tip, right? If I call up and say Clue did it, if I call up and said Clue did it, right? And they're not supposed to write up, well, Clue's the killer. Here you go, Clue. We're going to arrest you on 4 counts of murder. No, they're supposed to go, oh, okay. So you think Clue did it. All right. okay, guys, we got to get a tail on this person. Let's get a tracker on the vehicle. Let's try to get some swabs to see if his DNA matches what we have, right? Let's see if we can connect him through any of the video, the audio of the cell pings. Can we connect him to this case? Let's get a move on. Get it right, because this guy could be our guy. And that's what the way we're supposed to run with this. They didn't do that. They took the info from the FBI and made a chargeable arrest from it.
Yeah.
Then later they got a warrant to search his house, to search his car. That shit should have been done before they arrested him, or at least that it's very. I can't even imagine how you wouldn't do it before. You could have impaneled a grand jury. You could have taken a sitting grand jury and impaneled them and said, "This is what we got so far." Grand juries can be used to build a case. They do it with RICO all the time. There's grand juries that sit, and the case is brought to them piece by piece by piece until the final end.
Where is Dago? Is he even still in here?
He's working on his t-shirts. What are you
I'm
doing,
right
Dago?
here. I'm just sitting and listening.
My bad. I didn't know. That was funny as hell.
Well, I'm just listening to you guys.
Yeah, well,
Dago,
you're
that's a nice fire in the background.
kind of boring.
Go on with what you're doing. I'm here.
You don't got no input. You always ask me, okay, well, what do you think, Dago? What's your thoughts on that, Dago?
Well, this thing, I mean, not that I'm not being rude. This part right here, Sarge, we've talked this in circles already. That's why I have nothing else to add to that. I mean, I know what you're saying, but there's nothing else I can put to that. You put it all there. You know what I mean? So there's nothing else with it. But, and I don't mean that mean. I'm just saying, like, we've really talked this in circles. So
Ad nauseam.
the thing I was interested in, and I think I mentioned it already, was backing up to your point with the tower thing. Like any possibility, I should say, of anything changing anything in this case is interesting in any way, shape, or form. I'm sorry, but you know, the timeline being possibly different and things like that. I've been just thinking about that and looking at other things as well with that. But I mean, like I said, that's why I haven't anything else to say. I'm just listening to you, and taking it all in.
Yeah, it's I came in with that particular view of the case. It might even be wrong, but my particular view was they put the cart before the horse. And then later, as things started coming out, there's no DNA here, and here, and there's no electronic things. That's like, I'm like, yep, see what I mean? They should have known that before they applied for the warrant to arrest.
That's definitely,
You know, you can issue sealed warrants. That's the part of the grand jury that keeps you appraised of it. You can issue surveillance devices. You can issue phone traces, phone traps. You could put a device on someone's vehicle. If you can get something in their sneaker safely, you're allowed to, you get the warrants to do that in secret. There's no application in front of a court. It's done secretly through a grand jury. And then you keep moving your case forward and building your evidence in secret. That's investigating. And they didn't do any of that here.
No, they didn't. I did find this part funny. It has been hypothesized that the murders were femicides motivated by hatred against women stemming from the incel movement, which I think was probably supposed to say incel.
Oh, the incel movement across the country. Yeah.
Sorry, upstate New York. I didn't think it was going to be that loud. I got to stop using these, whatever they're called. But, however, I did find this part super interesting. The case is legally significant because the defense has asked for disclosure relating to the FGG investigation. Right? Which I agree 100%. This is legally, it's almost going to set like a precedent. Which, in my opinion, I kind of want it to, because I do think if you find me, like, say we're just sitting here and the FBI comes knocking on the door and they take fiance wherever, because they traced him through like some of his relatives, and now they think he's committed like we'll do the same, a quadruple homicide. You're going to tell me that you're not going to show him all this complicated, like
Proof.
scientific, whatever work that you did to get to him.
Here's what I said a long time ago with Dago, just so it's worse than what you're saying, and I agree with what you're saying. Essentially, when I take and I start doing a genealogical background, I'm literally looking at people that are not connected to the crime at all. None. They have no connection to this crime. They're dead, and or they're old, and or they live in a different country. I am looking at people and investigating who they are and who they connect to without a warrant. Okay? And you're right to privacy. You're right to what's said. The government can't do these certain things. This sounds like one of those certain things they can't do. So they check and they look and they find his great grandmother, and then they start looking into the connections his great grandmother has to the grandmother, to his grandfather, to his dad, to his sister, to his cousin, to his brother. Those people are being looked at by the government for what? What crime did they commit? Under what basis do you have permission to look at those people's background? You see, that's where I think this whole thing blows up. That's a violation of your right to privacy by the government. Now, if you go to a private contractor, which is what I suspect the FBI does, the private contractor can go and look at that stuff under the guise of just being an individual. Report to the FBI, and then the FBI forwards the tip to the police. The police are then supposed to take that tip.
Exactly how they work.
Yes, which is not correct. It's not. That's why they go to the third-party contract. That's why they pulled it away from Othram. That's exactly why the FBI steps in. And then they're going to go pull their hanky-panky in the backyard. Nobody gets to see him behind the shed. And then turn the tip over to the police. The police are supposed to turn that tip into a lead, investigate the lead, and if that tip is accurate, close the case with an arrest. Not based on the tip, but based on what they collect between the tip and the arrest.
But I will say Othram can do IgG. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because there's a case in here somewhere where it's, I want to say Othram and the FBI are both listed, which is why I kind of paused in the beginning. I'm like, well, why aren't they both listed here?
Well, what I thought was really interesting when you sorted that, the number of FBI cases, or the number of cases the FBI did the IgG on in this list is quite small in comparison to Othram.
Othram is contracted by they're contracted under a contract with Idaho Police, Idaho State Police, the state of Idaho. Therefore, they're beholden to the laws of that state, and to whatever the rules are on police work. They can't step outside the bounds. So the FBI comes in and takes it, gives them the ability to step outside the area.
Othram, FBI, Othram, FBI. Do you see what I mean?
Somebody made the comment, so he is probably guilty, but y'all don't like the way they looked at DNA. I don't personally like the way they looked at anything, because if I'm average Joe citizen and you present this PCA to me, and everything we've seen since that says we arrested this guy, you're safe, I should be able to look at what you're presenting to the public and say, oh yeah, cool, y'all did your job. But I look at what they've presented to us and I say, I don't understand how in the hell you can convince me you got the right guy. And unless you're going to present something that's at least one nail in the coffin, I'm not going to be okay with that. So whether they got the right guy or not, the problem's not just the DNA. It's everything that they've presented to the public seems off, in my opinion.
Someone is saying, I think I'm a lawyer.
How many?
I think the person that thinks I think I'm a lawyer.
Oh, I agree with that. What, Dago?
They need help.
What the hell was I going to say? Damn it.
How many something?
How many do we know? Like, have we looked into how many other cases have gone through Othram that have been completed cases? You know what I mean?
I got a list right here.
Is it?
1,
Is it?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
What's been the outcome on those cases? Does it say?
These are.
Are they still open?
Some of them are. There's roughly 20. We'll say 25 in here, and I think it was
they cold
5.
cases?
What's the?
Well, that's the thing. They're not all cold cases. So I don't know why people keep throwing that crap in my face. Because
No, I'm
that's,
just asking.
well,
Yeah,
not
because-
necessarily, right?
Well,
because they
think it's
use
because
this. They use this to arrest a guy, which I guess maybe is considered cold. I don't know how long it has to be before it's a cold case, but they got this guy who had committed RAPE in like 90s or something, and they
Yeah.
found him through IGG and arrested him.
Right.
So
I
It's
think
not-
Let me just say, can I just say something though? What the reason I asked certain questions is because a lot of these cases are dealing with semen, they're dealing with blood, they're dealing with the different things that were left behind at the scene that
Yeah.
were stored properly and could be reviewed later. So most of these cases that are solved cold are not microscopic DNA. That's what makes this case a little different. And we had that list the other night of several cases of this transfer DNA being used to convict, and all those cases were overturned. But
Right.
Othram and other labs are definitely involved with if you got a blood sample and no hidden CODIS of making the profile from that blood sample and building a tree. That I understand. This one, I think it comes down to the type of DNA sample that they had.
and I
And
was
that's why-
actually
Othram, I think the reason why the cold case thing comes up is because that's typically what Othram deals with is cold cases.
Right. This is
Um,
new. This is a new branch. And the newest part about the branch isn't that they use DNA to find a tree.
But that's the thing.
It's
Like people keep saying it's new. The earliest case that IGG was used in was in like
2019. Yeah. See, arrest the ID date 2019, May 7th.
Yeah.
Right.
The crime
Really?
happened a long time ago. Oh, well, why did that sort that like that? 2015?
right. That's what I'm saying. Like it is like we're in 2024, y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not brand. That's not real new. That's cold.
No.
Not cold,
And
but it's
a matter of fact, there was one, and I meant to have it pulled up, but I think I closed it by accident. And somewhere in these tabs, it might still be there. But this
That's
one
cool.
guy that I was just
After-
talking about that did that in Florida, and they found him, I forget where he was after that, Nevada,
Mhm.
maybe. He, when he was arrested and he got arrested on some other charges. You know
Mhm.
how they like take your DNA at the prison or whatever?
Yeah, right.
It was collected wrong.
Mm.
So it wasn't any good. Or they could have solved the case like way back in the 90s. So it was just another example of sometimes DNA collection in itself can be a problem.
Right.
Gotcha.
And in this case, I think Othram has their claim is that they can magnify DNA smaller
Right.
and smaller portions of it, and that's why Othram is involved. And that's why it
Right.
would be sensible to use them in this particular instance. And they came up with a profile. The fact that they wouldn't let Othram carry that profile to its conclusion with the genealogical work that they're able to perform is obviously what you're pointing out. The FBI stepped in, but I think somewhere in the guidelines of the DOJ, there's some reference to that happening, that the FBI then gets involved.
Right.
And the genealogical work is done by the FBI.
Does anybody remember when it got leaked that, or, air quotes leaked, that IGG was used? It was prior to a court filing referencing it, if I'm not
Oh,
mistaken.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Because everybody was like, well, I mean, is that for sure?
That was
I
a
was-
ways back.
I was
Yeah, I thought
thinking
it
it was
was
like
too.
March or April of 23, but I don't know. I'm curious as to the timing of that.
Let me see.
I can't remember to save my life. Real quick though, while you're looking at that, Kara, where'd you go? Kara Willis. one of the main case managers at Othram is Samantha Payne. Who is that exactly, and how do you have that? Like, where did you find that, hun? Just out of curiosity, I'm curious. Excuse me. Othram couldn't fill a prescription properly. Well, I don't know anything about. I'm gonna be doing a lot more, but I've done just very little basic scratch the surface research on Othram, just to understand what they did and do, and that's how I knew that they typically cover cold cases, which was why I was curious as to why they got involved with this one. Not to say that they wouldn't cover anything that's hot right now or new, but I was just curious why they were used. So I looked them up a little bit. I didn't go deep on them yet. And hopefully you can hear me, Kara. Samantha Payne.
I'll have to look at.
Hope floats. Yeah. I would do. I'm gonna do a deep dive on them. I guess not a deep. But I'm just gonna look at them and see what I can find out about them, just out of curiosity, because people have questions. That's what I've seen so far. True Crime Time is that they didn't. I mean, based on what I read, they didn't have any bad references or anything like that yet. But I'm gonna go deep and see what I can find, and just to look up their history and stuff like that on LinkedIn. Just the name made me laugh. Gotcha. Okay, I just was curious, Kara, because I had never seen that before. Thank you. Excuse me.
I come up with a new wisecrack.
Imagine.
Keep it clean.
You ready to hear it, son?
Sure, Pops.
Keep it clean.
Kiss my organ. Your skin is the biggest organ in your body. Just be aware. That means you could kiss my cheek or something. Just be aware. Right.
Yeah.
But saying kiss my organ does sound vulgar, and in fact, it really isn't.
Being able to find that's actually pretty cool. They just identified a victim after 30 years of anyone being able to find out who they are. Pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, I haven't had the time. Well, actually, I didn't really think about it until just recently about looking into them, because lately I've been looking at the back side of things with this case and the scientific side of things and trying to figure some of that stuff out.
I just think it's crazy. Like the numbers that I've looked up when it comes to IgG, that one website, oh my gosh, why am I drawing a blank? GED match or something, maybe. I don't know. I don't remember what one it is, but like 2% of the population, I think, has uploaded their information. So like I've done 23andMe.
Yeah.
I can take my results and put it into their system and start finding like relatives, right?
Right.
So I think they said, I want to say 2% of the population has done just that with their results, and they're now able to identify 60% of white Americans.
Wait, say that again?
Yes, it's absolute freaking insanity. Like only 2% have uploaded their DNA to that website. Off of the 2% of people that have done that, they are able to identify 60% of the white American population.
Okay, interesting. Very interesting.
Which is,
I've never put my DNA in one of those. I've done that whole family tree thing. What the hell is that called? I forget it. My mom had me do it.
Ancestry.
Yeah, that stuff. I've done that, but I've never done where you give them your DNA. And at this point, I'm just not comfortable with that.
And that's the other side of it, right? They're taking DNA, and I already have a presentation ready on all this. These facts that I've gotten. Some places claim that through DNA, they can actually tell what a person might look like.
I've heard something like that before.
Well, it's true. Let me tell you, it is true because my 23andMe, it tells me like I have a high percentage of having freckles. I have freckles. It tells me I probably have blue eyes. I have blue eyes. It tells me my hair is either wavy or straight. It's not curly. It is true. It is straight hair.
You're right. I read a story about a woman that used this tactic to find the father of her child.
Oh yeah, designer babies. That's not
No lie. No lie. And I was like, what in the hell? And she's basically, like you just said, designing her own child.
okay. So let me tell you all it tells you. All right, cheek dimples, and it says a 56% chance I don't have dimples. I don't. Dandruff, 66% chance I've never had dandruff. I don't have dandruff and never have. 83% chance I have detached earlobes. I do have detached earlobes. A 93% chance I have wet, sticky earwax. Like,
Wait, what?
okay.
Ew.
And
What
then it's a 52% chance of blue eyes. I have blue eyes. 55% chance my ring finger is longer than my index finger, and it is. 73% chance of freckles. 76% chance my hair bleaches in the sun. 45% chance of slightly wavy hair. 57% chance of dark brown hair. And 59% chance I had little or no hair at birth. You guys have seen my fat ass as a baby. And 99% chance I don't have red hair.
That's a good guess for most people.
That's wild.
70,
That is wild.
one thing they are wrong on is the stretch mark thing. 70% chance I have stretch marks. I don't have stretch marks. But it goes so far as to tell me that I have a longer big toe. That's not right either.
No.
They really like break it down with all that.
Yeah, there's a 63% chance I don't have a unibrow.
Jesus Christ.
76% chance I don't have a widow's peak.
Now we know where she's shaving.
That's crazy stuff, you guys. That's just crazy. I'm sorry.
Oh my God. I did 123andMe. I don't find any. I didn't look that deep into it. I was trying to find out who my real parents were. And it appears to have hit that pretty, it hit it, I guess.
And
Moonlit Baby just said, did you see there's another case of a Missouri kid that went to the hospital? They released him and now he's missing.
What?
Like the Donna Cross case.
I missed the.
It wasn't in Potosi, was it?
If it was in Potosi, that's insane. I don't know, but that's
Well,
crazy.
they released him from the hospital. Now they can't find the person.
Right. I mean, it doesn't mean anything. I know, but it's just the relevance is pretty wild.
Is this supposed to be a derogatory comment? Miss Clue is pure white, does not have any Native American heritage. How proud you must be. I mean, I'm proud of who I am.
Right.
I'd be proud if I was Native American or not. But yes, I am pure white. I am 99% European. I have like 0.2% Asian. That's it. German and French.
Let me just say, anybody in the chat room, I don't care where you are. When you go into the restroom, you're Indian, you're whatever you want to be. But I promise you, once you get in there, European.
Oh, see, y'all come to my level.
So we're all Europeans, okay?
You're a dork, you know that, right?
But
Thank
however, I'm just saying, it is really like I got to say, like when I was reading that, I was like, that's crazy. Like y'all can predict what people look like. And then I remembered this thing and what it was telling me about my like physical features. And I'm like, holy shit, like it's right. Like they can tell me very specific, down to the unibrow and my dandruff status, like what I look like. That's crazy. Eye color and everything, like it's spot on. Freckles, like that's insane.
The fact that people can design their own children blows my mind. It's like that's just too much. That's, in my opinion, that's playing.
That's kind of cool if you think about it. I mean, I suspect a lot of things going forward in the future will be gone, but I suspect a lot of things are going to become fully acceptable and possible through the intervention of science and
too many ways to play God, and I don't like that.
But I do think that Dago stuff like you're talking about, that woman like looking for the perfect mate.
You're
I
right.
guess so her
she's probably,
so her
she's probably
child
be
turns out, right. So her child turns out exactly how she wants it. That's too much.
She's probably gonna
yeah, because even if they look like that doesn't mean your child's gonna come out that way.
But she's probably gonna come knocking on my door soon.
That's
oh my
bullshit.
God.
Anyway, so to say
I'm
that
Neanderthal too. I was saw that comment. Somebody said their profile says they're Neanderthal. I was some percentage Neanderthal too, but
aren't we all?
We should be.
Based on what I understand. I'm just saying, like, that's stepping way over the line. I can't handle stuff like that either. That bugs me because it's changing our world in a way that it just doesn't need to be.
No, Annie, I didn't.
We don't need to have that much control. Sorry.
Hold on, let me type. The paper does not say that. I was saying that to whoever was like, I don't have any Indian in me. Aren't I proud? And I'm like, what? I don't know what the hell that has to do with the price of beans in India, but
yeah, that's people just that nonsense. Bullshit.
Hey, what?
You'll have some Indian in you later.
See there, I'll have Indian in me later tonight. And thank you, fiance, for filling that void.
The Indian flu.
I have a very small percentage as well. Cree Indian.
Well, that's what's so crazy. Like reading about the whole Indian aspect of it. Like I know one of my great grandmothers was like 100%, and I don't have none, like at all, none.
Right. Yes, Jennifer, I agree with that too. If you want to have that much control, you probably shouldn't be having kids. That's too much for me. I'm sorry. I can't believe that people do that.
Well, I think the real benefit though to doing will be that you can get rid of potential life-threatening illnesses for the child going forward.
That's true. That is true.
That, yes, I get that. Why people don't want, you don't know, and this and that and other. I understand that.
You're going to live in a world one day where everybody is attractive, and attractive would be nothing more than normal.
That's what
we'll be dead. We'll be dead, but that'll happen.
We're making Barbie dolls,
I agree with that. What Sarge is saying, that eventually it will get to where, I mean, they're already doing it, right? They already do things where they make sure your baby has blue eyes and blonde hair, and they can grow it until they know if it's going to be a boy or a girl, and then they can implant it into you. You know what I mean?
That's messing with things we shouldn't be messing with, in my opinion. The only thing I said that I can agree with and understand is trying to avoid, like life-threatening as somebody that has the I can't think right now, the possibility of having MS or something like that, and if you can avoid that, I understand that, but guys, it still goes beyond, like, I can't accept that. I know what you're saying.
If you want to expand the life of a human, there's things that have to be done. Well, right? We live in an age of knowledge and technology, and if you can leverage it, why not?
I'm old school. I think we're meant to have. My thing is, I think everything's meant to happen for a reason, and it does. And we get it. We get it. We don't. You know what I mean? That's just how I have always felt. That's all.
I don't know, Heather B. I don't know which database.
I just kind of go by the whole mindset of you don't get to heaven if you don't have any struggles. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, right.
overcoming stuff like that is part of what makes a lot of people super strong.
Yeah, God
And
gives
if
us the.
yeah,
Sorry,
like
go ahead.
it's, I feel like if you are at the point where you just want this like perfect human, then
Well,
maybe you should let the family line fizzle out where you are, is all I'm saying. Like, I hate to be rude about
Well, I
it.
mean, it kind of goes back to the olden days, the royals and stuff like that, when they used to do that, the trying to keep the bloodline pure thing, where they would like breed within themselves, within their families, keeping that bloodline pure and things like that. And you see how that turns out in the end. It ends up causing more problems than making things what they were trying to go for. And I just feel like that in the end, when you're doing stuff like that, there's going to be a problem somewhere that's going to come back around and bite you in the ass. That's all.
Mhm.
I'll tell you what, I like that neural implant that Musk talks about.
Who or what?
Musk talks about
Elon?
neural implants. Yeah, Elon. I would be down with that in a minute.
Or what is it? What is that? I didn't
A
even
neural
catch.
implant, it would give you instantaneous access to information that you otherwise would have to spend hours reviewing.
No, I can't do
That,
that.
that would be absolutely awesome.
My thing is,
I would do it. I mean,
Well, no.
I trust Elon. He's my baby daddy, so
I'm not super
I would
religious,
do
but
it.
based on my religion in some senses. But
The same people said the same thing about cars from horses. Society's moving forward in a technological and based on knowledge that we're acquiring, right? So to just, we don't have to be down with it, but I think it's safe to say that these things are going to continue to change and evolve, and it's going to. If we came back in 100 years, we'd be like, "What the hell's going on?"
well, I think
We'd be
it's
the eyeball.
yeah. I mean, again, I'm not preaching religion, folks. I'm just saying there's one thing in there that I've never agreed upon. There's been talk about you're talking about this implant thing, putting a chip in us, okay, giving everybody a chip in their hand or whatever,
Their head.
and yeah, that's how you pay for things, and that's how people know who you are, and so on and so forth. That to me, that's
No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not a neural link. It's got nothing
I
to
know
do.
what you're saying. I'm talking about something different. Like what
Oh,
you're
okay.
saying and me, they're two different things. What I mean though is that's still to me, you're taking you're having something artificial put in your body, and to me that just feels like the same thing. I'm never gonna allow they'd have to shoot me dead first. I'm never gonna have somebody put something in my body that they could possibly control me with. That's all I'm saying. I just
I told everybody that's Elon Musk is my celebrity hall pass.
Well, the cell phone does kind of what Dago's saying. He doesn't want implanted, and so whether you implant it or carry it in your hand is the argument.
That's true.
Right.
He's
I
not
can
lying.
I can throw the cell phone over my shoulder though. You put a chip in my hand, I can't do that. It's in my body. That's the difference.
Right, but not in your lifetime. But going forward for your children and maybe your grandchildren, electronic currency will be the thing.
I know that, and it saddens me. It really does.
I don't know if it saddens me. I think what saddens me is that we know we have a lot of criminals in charge, right? But that's the biggest problem with everything we're looking at. It's not so much what they can do; it's that what people that have nefarious intents and these super narcissistic maniacs that are in charge, it's what they end up doing with it. That's really the problem, right?
I mean, I guess I don't know. I feel like the human race is very easy to get one over on. We can be as smart as we want. We can understand things as much as we want. Eventually, they're going to get us in some way.
Well,
And I feel that the sooner that we give into that per se, that gives that total control.
Oh, there he goes.
He needs the internet.
Sorry, I
implanted in him.
froze. That gives
Right.
that total control that I'm not good with.
I think you should plug the internet into your outlet.
What?
They want to know fiance who your celebrity hall pass is?
Clue.
See,
Oh my
I told
God.
y'all.
Phenomenon.
I would actually, if someone said, "Hey, you can have about 5 hours with Elon, do what you want to him," I would just have a conversation. Like that's one dude that I would like love to just sit and talk to. For one,
Right.
because I can understand him. Like
You
he's
think
not
he's
too smart.
attractive?
No,
Yeah.
his brain is.
Oh, I mean, yeah, the guy's too smart in my opinion, like dangerous smart.
I don't think he's dangerous smart at all. I don't even think he's too
But
smart.
the way he looks, no, I mean, I'm not like, I don't look at him and be like, ugh. Like, literally, I would just want to talk to him if they said, here, you can have all the time you want with him, do what you want. Even if he was sitting there naked, I'd never look past his face because I just want a conversation.
He is a very smart guy.
So, you know, Elon hasn't done anything anybody else couldn't have done. When you look at his accomplishments when it comes to even rocketry, what he did is he simply envisioned doing something different that others weren't considering. That's all he really did.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think he's a modern day.
I
I think
don't
he's a
know if I
modern
can
day
get behind
Nicholas
that.
He
Tesla.
made a better mousetrap. That's all he did is made a better mousetrap. He took a mousetrap and he found a better way to do it.
What did you say, Clue, or trying? What were you trying to say? You're gonna say?
Oh, I didn't know that. God, that girl gets around, don't she?
Who?
Amber Heard.
Oh,
What about her?
She has a kid with Elon Musk. What in the hell did he see in her? My
God.
My dog got stung by a bee. He must
Sad.
be one of those that goes for looks and don't give a damn what's upstairs. He's smart enough for the both of them. Is all I'm saying.
I hope he was smart enough to sign everything away from her.
Well,
I'm with Leon on that. Like that guy is smart. Like
I think he's a
100%.
modern day. I think he's a modern day Nikola Tesla. I mean, kind of in a sense. You know what I mean? The way that he
What
is.
has he invented that's never been here before him? Name one thing the man's invented that hasn't been here preceding him. You can't.
Who?
All I'm trying to Elon Musk. He's not invented anything none of us haven't had before.
Well, he's working on it.
No,
Actually, yes, he has. Yes, he has.
Name it.
A Neuralink.
That internet, that internet stuff you guys were trying to get me to look into.
Starlink. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of things he's invented that have not been here.
Let me just say something. Wait. This is where you guys are inaccurate. He did not invent the internet through space satellites. He didn't invent that. The ability to communicate with satellites
revolutionized. How about that?
Since the 80s and 90s, maybe even the 70s, we've been launching communication satellites into the sky to handle your broad network broadcast.
But he brought it to fruition, is what I'm saying.
No, what he's done is he's made a better mousetrap, folks.
Okay.
That's really what he should be looked at for. He's not an inventor. He didn't invent the light bulb out of nothing. He didn't invent the battery from no battery ever exists. What I'm saying is you're misunderstanding invention to his ability to take what's already here and put it into a different practical use.
Okay, whatever he did, he did it, is what I meant. Like,
thank you, Mandy Joe. I was like, this is the first time I've ever seen Sarge be like jelly.
No, I'm not jelly at all. I'm just pointing out what's right in front of us, but it's being misinterpreted as an invention, and the man hasn't invented anything.
Sarge, I'm curious. What does jelly even mean?
Well, jealous, maybe.
Oh, okay. All right.
What was there?
I think these distinctions matter, and in the modern world, they get lost, and people don't pay any attention to it, and that's why society is continually being dragged down into the dirt.
Whatever it is that he did is what I'm saying. He did it. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Diego, we're together on this one. I got your back.
Felicity and Heather are asking you.
Well, Cletus is a technological man. Can you tell us anything that he's invented that we wouldn't have without Elon Musk there, Cletus?
No, the commercialization of a lot of technology that already existed.
I'm looking for. I don't know.
It's 2-2. Now we got to go to the chat room. Oh, I thought this was a competition.
I'm looking for your question.
It was something about the lab. I saw it scroll through earlier.
Ask it again. I'll look this time.
What does jelly mean? I don't know what jelly means.
No, you were right. It means jealous.
Oh, I'm not jealous of Elon Musk. As a matter of fact, the only reason I respect him is he's the only person in power that recognizes population growth is the only way to drive technology ahead.
The question is which database company they use to get the IgG they have.
I don't know. They don't tell you that much in that article I was reading.
And I think in one document they say that they uploaded it to one or more of the publicly available databases. Because I specifically remember the statement of one or more. Because I'm like, why do you say one or more? Like, which is it? Is it one or is it two? Is it one or is it three? Why not put the number in there? It was just so weird that it was very non-specific about that.
Yeah, they don't tell, which they're not going to tell, right?
He did create the Tesla brand. That's true.
Now, you want to hear something interesting when it comes to controlling machines? You may not know this, but every thought that you have, every word that you put in your brain is automatically transmitted to your vocal cords, whether you speak it or not. And they can tap into that data stream and allow you to give commands.
What? So, hold on, Sarge. Can you repeat the first part of that?
Yeah. If you think of the word no, that word is transmitted to your vocal cords. Your vocal cords and your brain are directly connected. Now, some people say there's no filter. There is science to that. And one scientist has proven that for every word thought that you have, it's communicated to your vocal cords, whether you speak it or not. And it's in that connection that they can tap into your mind's thoughts to control machines. They're doing it to control for people that are paraplegics, to control their arms and legs so that they can walk. So they're doing things with science that's quite incredible, and they're coming up with things that like, to me, that's a hell of a discovery to realize that. And now when people say there's no filter, I'm one of them people with no filter. Clue is clearly one of them people. Right? You understand how that is. It's because your brain is automatically in communication with your vocal cords, with your thoughts.
Excuse me. I do have a filter. Do you know how many times I refrain from saying what I'm thinking when you're speaking?
Well, that doesn't mean you have a filter. You're just showing a little common sense.
So the question is, were they controlling his vocal cords, or did he do it on his own fruition? That San Francisco quarterback, when he was yelling out, "Watch the D!
The D! Watch the D!"
Could you guys imagine what kind of world it would be if, like, you thought something and it, like, say it was like a text message, it just showed in a, like, see-through screen above your head. Like, if I saw some of the people that I see, y'all know how I am. I'm talking to you, my family, they know how I am. I don't want none of TV. Could you imagine? I couldn't leave the house. Like, I would be.
You'd be arrested.
I wouldn't be arrested, but I'd probably have the shit kicked out of me a few times. Well, at least they would try, but.
No, Rusty, I'm not saying that. Elon Musk is not an inventor. He is oh man, I had the word. It's
entrepreneur.
No, it starts with an I too.
He's the revolution.
Starts with an I. And then I know what you're saying.
Innovator, that's what he is. He's an extraordinary innovator, is what he is.
See, I made that connection between your brain and your vocal cords for you.
Yeah, we read that.
Yeah.
Well, son, that's because we're direct related by blood. It always...
Sarge, I swear on everything I am, inside and out. If you were the potential father-in-law,
you'd be.
I don't know how this would go.
You would be nicer than me because you'd be looking at what you might gain when I passed away.
He's also autistic.
Yeah. Yeah, and I am on the spectrum, so that helps.
Which spectrum?
Oh my gosh, could you imagine having to go to Thanksgiving with him? Well, the colonists, This is how we have turkey. let me tell you real quick how we have turkey and when stuffing and mashed potatoes became a part of this dinner.
I would actually be open to learning that. I've never really looked into it, but it's something I might do in spare time, which I fortunately have enough of.
I have a feeling.
Are you kidding me right now?
Well, I don't. Yeah, I am. No. I'll find out for you if you need to know.
His interpretation of the story would be somebody stabbed a turkey in the heart with a pencil.
Shut that bird up. Stab it with that pencil. Oh my goodness. You are just too much, folks. Anyway,
just ask Anna Lee. She knows.
April said, "Have a joint ready." Gobble gobble.
Oh my God! Can you imagine that?
I said,
can you imagine that?
We have to do a stream one night
Oh
where we
my
are
God! I can't imagine
we've
that.
gone to like Hello Mood or something, and everybody's gotten their stuff delivered, and we just all eat them at one time, and then we just go live.
Have you ever had an edible, Sarge? Probably not.
No, I haven't.
I can imagine like the way that you are, the way you like figure things out, and like, you know what I mean? Like your mind would just go and everything would come out at once.
Poof. Yeah, well, that's it. That'd be
come up with something absolutely crazy. Like I just figured out the cure for cancer. Quit drinking water or something, right? It would be something completely off the wall like that. And then he would spend an hour explaining why he's right. And we would forever put away water.
Go, prove me wrong. You would all free.
Well, listen, I was in a stream one time, and what came up was I was discussing propulsion in space. Was it you, Clue? No, some woman came in and said, "What?" No, I think it was Golf Inspector. I was talking about this idea I had come up with to move craft in space with just electricity. Okay. And so I was talking about that, and she comes into the conversation. She goes, "Is that what you do when you got nothing better to do? You think of shit like this?" I was like, "Yep."
Hey. I remember the reason why I just thought of that, because I remember one of the first times that I partook in like smoking something. Okay, I was sitting by a fire with a friend of mine, and he brought up the JFK assassination. It was over. That was the end of the night. It just went on and on and on and on. And what about this? And well, I think it was that. And it was this and that and this and this and that and that and this. And I'm like, oh, for God's sake. I couldn't stop. And then I was really, really bad off that night. And I was like, there was 3 or 4 of us sitting there. Has anybody ever thought about what comes before space? And they all turned and looked at me and went, dude.
Bruh.
Right. Yeah, it was bad that night.
I got a video. I have a video coming out that I think Sarge will appreciate.
Oh, thank you. What would it be about?
It's about the fentanyl issue that we're having and how the DEA just came out with a new study saying that 6 out of every 10 like prescription look-alike pills, I don't know if they're actually prescriptions that they're dosing out, but contained a potentially lethal dose of fentanyl in them.
Can I show you something since you brought that up? That's hilarious. You just brought that up. Look, I take this for cholesterol. Okay.
Oh, hold on. I can't see you.
Okay, hold on. I take
no,
this.
I'm talking about. I don't have my thing up. I see you now. Go ahead.
Okay. I take this for cholesterol. It's simvastatin. Okay. Now you tell me, it's going to be hard for you to see because of my fat ass fingers, but you tell me what this looks like to you.
Looks like an ibuprofen or something, an Advil.
Yeah, it does actually.
Yeah.
Right. It's a little bit lighter. They're a little bit darker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the pictures that I've seen recently when I was looking that up, when I did that stream on the KC3, the pills almost look like this. The fentanyl ones did. It's insane. I mean, there's so many lookalikes now. It's not even funny.
I want to just touch on something with Musk. when Musk sold his internet interests in a company and got $25 million, he tells you the story. He tells you that people were like, you can live a high life, da 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 da. And he decided to do something when it came to cars and rockets, mainly rockets. But just so people realize, I say this all the time. There's no one on earth smarter than you. The difference between you and someone smart is simply the time they have available to gather the information. That's it. And what Musk did with his 25 million was he took the time and he dedicated his time to a task. He chose rocketry, right? And all he did was capitalize on material sciences and existing knowledge of rockets and came up with what he came up with. And in coming up with it, he had to hire and find all of these intense engineers around rockets, around metals, around all of these different things. And he spent the time doing it, and that's how he became who he is. But any one of us could have done that. That's when people say my IQ is 150. I really don't care if your IQ is 90 or 120 or 150. The difference between a guy with 90 and 120 is it takes you a little longer to absorb. But the guy at 120 is not capable of knowing something your brain can't figure out. That to me is like one of the, I think people call a phone smart. The phone is stupid. It's like a hammer. It isn't smart at all. And really, the human brain, the capacity for the brain to learn, absorb, understand is beyond what anybody can imagine. And I don't know why society has spent such a long time putting us in these little boxes with these tests. Because all it really comes down to is a desire to know and the time you invest to know.
Have a good night, Heather.
People smart or not smart. If you spend all your time listening to music and not looking at anything of any interest, then you're going to know music and nothing else. That doesn't make you dumb, right? You can't base someone's smarts off of that because they chose to be interested in music. So. Yeah, that's what I mean. I think people don't give themselves enough credit for just how smart they really are or can be.
I just need to clarify this. I do not find Elon Musk sexually attractive, okay? It is literally his brain. There's not another man in this world that is attractive to me than my fiance.
Oh, on Valentine's Day, Clue.
I'm being for real. There's something that physically takes over when I'm in a relationship. If I see other men, I don't look at them like, "Ooh, he's hot." And I've done that twice, okay, in the Walmart, and both times it was fiance I was looking at coming at me in this because I felt guilty. Like, oh my God, what are you doing?
You were looking at my leg one day or something. You said you saw my leg.
Yes, your leg. Like we used to work out all the time, and I would be like mid crunch or lunge or something. I'd look over and see his thighs. I'd be like, oh my God, about to melt. I was done for. I couldn't work out no more. Like there's something about his legs that are so sexy. And one day I'm bent over in the Walmart. Okay, hush. One day I'm bent over in the Walmart trying to get a pair of jeans off the shelf. And this leg comes beside of me, and I'm like, damn. And of course, it was his. So,
oh my God,
I'm the same way.
It's like Tales from the Crypt, only it's her and her man.
Hey, look, just because you're single and fighting the one arm beast.
At the moment, I'm sorry, I'm not technically single at the moment.
Gene,
look at my speed dating. Look at my speed dating working. Ain't that about some shit?
Didn't work. The Super Bowl really worked, not the speed dating.
Oh, Christ.
Well, hey, I'm just telling you.
You mean to tell me that you bonded and hooked up with some chick over
What's the D?
What's the D? I was in it. No, it's an on again, off again thing. It's been like that for years. So,
Oh, well, then you're single because it's destined to be off again.
Well, I mean, you got to jinx me. I mean, can't you? Yeah, I agree though.
I'm not jinxing you, but you can't argue my logic.
It was that quarterback's fault. I probably wouldn't have been watching the D.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Sarge, is this the casino?
Yeah, it's the casino, girl.
Oh. The fact that I know that much about your life is driving me insane right now. I should not know that about people.
But we should know about his leg and how it affects you.
That's different.
No, it's not. It's worse.
Speaking of that,
Dago, you could be the referee in this debate.
okay.
He's gonna start laughing. Call EMS. Let's get ready.
Watch this. Diego, what was the country artist your wife was asking you about earlier?
Marty Stewart. I figured out who he was. I do know who he is.
Okay. I thought I was going to catch you up right there. All right. I'm a little impressed. You listened when she talked.
I just, the name, for whatever reason, I hadn't heard anything by him in a long time. And she just, it didn't lock in for a minute, for a second. And then I heard, she said, remember that one song? And she couldn't tell me the name of it. And then she finally remembered. I'm like, oh shit, duh. Okay. Yeah, music is very hard to get me on. Very hard.
How could you on that?
What'd you say?
No, I'm reading the comments of the people in the chat room that came out loud. I'm sorry.
Who is Jason Kelsey? Is that Travis Kelsey's brother?
Yeah, that's his brother. He's the one. I don't know if you saw that one that picked the little girl up to see Taylor in the window.
I didn't see all that, but I saw him on their podcast.
Oh yeah,
they are funny. Well, he is, but
Jason is hilarious.
You got a birthday in the chat room, hosts, creators. You have a birthday in the chat room.
Happy birthday! She thinks you're hot. That's Angel D. She's always talking about Sarge this, Sarge that. Happy birthday, Angel! Happy birthday to you! Happy birthday to you! Happy birthday, dear Angel! Happy birthday to you!
They're still going on about Musk. They want me to spill the beans on Casino Girl. I just can't.
I was going to include that, but Angel doesn't like me. So
what?
And she doesn't like me.
Why doesn't she? Yeah, everybody likes Dago.
Nah.
How could you not like Dago?
That's definitely not true. That is definitely not true.
For the most part, it is.
For not even close to the most part. You're wrong on that, my friend. That's one thing you have to say. I am wrong.
You know what's kind of funny, because I like met the two of you together, and the two of you to the internet are about the same. They love you when you're not talking a lot.
Jesus.
I'm kidding. That's a joke. It was pretty good though.
Oh my God.
Oh,
well, your life is a better for it now, ain't it?
That's going to be the next thing of his that I've got to mimic. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Oh, you should have heard him talking like you earlier. Do it.
What did I say?
Do it.
I don't even remember what I said.
Well, laugh.
Let's stab you in the fucking heart with a fucking pencil.
That sounds like me. It really does.
No, he did it really good earlier. I was just teasing Angel, by the way. I don't really.
You should answer the phone for me from now on.
Well, thank you, Jennifer, and everybody else. I appreciate you guys.
You said you should answer the phone for him from now on.
No, I'm good.
And he's good on the phone. He gets companies to shut right down. April D, don't fall out of love with me. Love is eternal. Love is forever.
We should do polls.
I don't want.
I'm great on a poll. What do you want me to do? Backflip.
Bambi does it all.
Grab them with my ankles and slide down.
I know, Angel. I'm just teasing you, hon. I hope you had a great day for your birthday, by the way.
What are we doing with a poll?
Like, let's see. Don't say it like that, because that's going to turn all different ways.
I'd like to see. Now, Dago, do you know those poles are two pieces, an inner and an outer pole?
It is true, and they
the
spin.
Pole?
They do turn.
A lot of people don't know that.
I do. The Creature. Remember, I was married to the Creature.
Oh, okay.
Actual, like a real stripper pole in a club, it spins.
Right. There's a two-piece pole. The outer pole's on a set of bearings attached to the inner pole, and you can. Yep.
Y'all ever seen that? Like really big girl pole dance?
No, I've never seen that.
Oh my gosh, you have to watch this chick. She was on America something. AGT or something.
Hey, I just figured out how to put a
poll in the chat. I want to make a point about people in the chat room. Look at, they're insinuating that I say Elon is dumb. When did I ever suggest a man was dumb? I said he's an innovator. That's just, I mean, I think it's funny how people take what you say and twist it into something that's never meant to be. But go, I'm sorry for interrupting.
They go, what do you want the poll to ask? I figured out how to put it in chat.
Oh,
Nah, I was just teasing because it could turn bad. It could turn bad now that I'm thinking of it. No.
What are you trying to do? What do you mean?
Yes, yeah, I am Sicilian. Best of me. Good guess. I think
I'm
Sergeant.
Sicilian as well. Yeah, and Calabrese, and English and Irish on my mother's side.
I'm Sicilian and Slovenian or Transylvanian, whatever it was at that time.
I'm the meanest
Like Dracula?
I'm an Italian vampire, yes.
And for me, I'm the meanest polite drunk you'll ever meet.
See, Dago? Every time I tell you you suck, now you can't argue.
Damn.
Blah blah blah.
Suckzilla.
You guys, I want you guys to watch this chick, okay?
All right, where is it?
Oh Lord.
I'm pulling it up. Hold on.
Is it
She's
gonna be
amazing.
This-
Don't judge
This
already.
is going from Dylan's time frame caused Coburger to be set up to pole dancing.
Oh, by the way, Gene Anderson asked a question. I don't know if you heard me, Gene. That is the electric car the Tesla is.
Right.
I pictured Dago doing the titles of Everybody Loves Raymond with Detective John walking sadly.
Watch this chick,
Now
y'all.
they can't see her.
I can on
You're
YouTube.
not sharing it with Streamer.
No.
Streamer.
I'm talking to the crowd.
There's Simon Cowell. Oh, she looks like that. What's her name? She lost all that weight. The actress. British. What the hell's her name? Holy shit. No way. Whoa.
He said, "Is that Sarge? Is he talking about in the video or talking?"
No, I don't know.
I'm watching the ham hock swing from a pole.
Wow.
Starch is so mean.
You're that was just
Look at, like, she's good to me.
No, she's very good. I've seen very thin women that can't even do that.
That is
What?
a good question, Tommy. On the poll, or Bobby said that's a strong poll. Y'all are mean. I think it's great.
I don't get it.
Hey, there's this one girl that does that, and it looks like she's walking up in the air. It's absolutely incredible how this woman works on that pole. And you'd think she's coming down a flight of stairs. It's just amazing, like a circular staircase.
Stevie.
It's just amazing.
I'm trying to tell you, being on the pole is like the hardest thing you will ever do, and you will leave bruised and beaten. Like it's crazy hard.
Women that know me wouldn't disagree. Clue, you can't open doors like that and not expect me to step through them. I think you do it on purpose. I really do.
You
Cletus?
never know.
Cletus?
Cletus
There's
is
there's
draining the
nobody.
snake right now.
There's no helping me.
That,
Yeah.
Jesus. Yes, Corey. Or Corey.
Did your stream lock up after that comment? I'm sorry. You got the, oh my God. Clue?
What?
Is Cletus there?
I just told you he's draining a snake. He's taking a piss.
All right. When he hurries back, he's got something he's got to see.
See?
Yeah. Something he's
Okay.
got to see. All right. Dago, what else is going on there, Mr. Dago?
What?
What else is happening?
With what?
What, you know, I don't know. You're the creator. I'm just a nut crazy nut in the panel.
No, you were right the first time. Nutsack.
Okay, Star just said there's something you got to see.
What's
Look
up?
at Dago's hat. The
I thought that the other day when we were talking about this, and he leaned over and it was like right in the camera. I'm like, oh, okay.
That's funny.
D.
The dude.
It haunts us, doesn't it?
It what?
It haunts us.
Hey, Tommy.
That's just crazy. Well,
I see Tommy.
Ah, Mama Clue's in here. There she is.
where's Mama?
Just snooping.
Have you guys watched
Like-
that movie, Throw Mama from the Train, yet?
I've seen it a long
Oh,
time
okay.
ago.
What?
She can't.
Why are
sit
you asking
still.
her about church?
She can't sit still or stay on topic for more than 15 minutes. Hence the reason we started with Dylan in the 3 to 5 time frame and ended up at British pole dancers.
You know what?
Yeah.
Yes, I do, and he's a pretty good fellow.
People whose brains work like mine
Mm-hmm.
are super intelligent.
Wow.
I
Thank
agree.
you. Thank you very much.
I said like mine, but better than Sarge's, didn't I?
No, you didn't.
Or did you? Because I put that on my tongue vibrator that he was talking about.
Jesus
So-
Christ.
You're what?
Her
My tongue vibrator, whatever the vibrations I put. Buzz,
my
buzz. I thought it went to your ear. My bad.
She attached something to the wrong part of her body, and she worked it out nonetheless.
Don't you let my mama say she been to church, even though it's a Wednesday. Because let me tell you something, honey. If she went to the church, the fire department better be nearby. Oh, she ain't called up yet. That's why she's talking about Indian inside of me. Or in, you know what I mean, my DNA.
Yeah.
Where's 101
Maybe-
then? Who's 101?
Maybe you're not my mom.
Mama. Mama. Yeah, whatever happened, I don't want to mention any names, but somebody brought up 101, and that's kind of true. I think that grandfather clock created more casualties than we're aware of.
I don't think it was that.
Oh, I don't know who 101 is. Somebody asked.
No,
where's
that's who
101
that
at?
is. I don't know
I'll check.
where. Like he must have decided he wasn't going to do this no more.
Maybe he went to Idaho to solve the case.
I don't think that's that.
These
I think he tried to-
assholes out here.
Oh my God. Not
Don't
me.
do that. Don't do that.
What?
You just scared me.
What's up, Johnny?
He got,
Looking around
I,
for him.
Sergeant Friday was wrong.
Play that again. Turn it
I,
up.
Sergeant Friday was wrong. Play yours now, Clue. Go ahead there, Clue.
I
Play
don't
yours.
have one. I don't have one.
Oh, but that wasn't the arrangement. That wasn't the agreement.
Well,
You lied. L-I-E-D.
is not my son. She says I am, but the kid is not my son. She says I am, but the kid.
oh, I love that song. I love Little Michael. I love Big Michael, Old Michael, whatever. You feel like crap, don't you?
Do what?
Don't you judge me.
Don't you judge me.
What'd you say?
Do you feel all right?
No.
Okay.
Hell no.
Are you scared? Are you scared?
The kid is not my son.
Go worse at night, Cletus.
Oh yeah.
That's
Yeah.
just a typical fact. I hate that.
Oh, I so do need to. I need to get that live and make some sound bites from that.
What
You
lie?
don't say the C word. It's so disrespectful.
Oh.
Who said that?
Wait, it didn't even go there.
All right, no names, no names. It's a no-name show. My name is No Name, and Mr. No Name and Mr. and Mrs.
I'll
No
tell
Name.
you. I can tell you who it is.
A random stranger.
Where's Annalise laughing comments for that soundbite and stuff?
Jeremy.
I haven't made it there.
And you do got one where you say you are but you just won't play it because you ain't got
No,
the
I
knack.
really don't. I didn't clip me saying that I was not
Correct.
whatever.
Oh, well, so you had full consent to do it. You agreed.
That's bullshit.
I will get around to clipping me saying that I was
Lippity clop.
Yeah,
Lippity clop.
you were what?
It's a
forced
What?
to say that I was incorrect.
Yeah, people will buy that. I'm sure forced. She was coerced. Well, what other topics are you going to entertain this evening, Dago?
That was it for me. No, he has not taken a vid test, but he can't taste his crackers, his vape,
Chili.
or his chili. And if he can't taste his chili, oh, nothing half-assed. I love that song.
Did you completely lose taste, Cletus? Like sweet, or is it just like everything's gone?
No, I lost it all tonight. I had it back earlier, but now I can tell something's salty. And
You know what you will taste? Listen, I tell you what you will taste.
The D.
No, I wasn't going to go there or even anywhere near that. I was going to give him honest advice.
Hold your water.
You get a banana split, and I promise you will taste it.
PYT, pretty young thing.
Yep,
I like that song too.
Get the ingredients for banana split, make one, and I swear to God, you'll taste it.
I don't know. We'll see.
Have you had that thing?
Yes.
Yeah, I have.
I told you he.
Hard.
Oh.
Yes, I have.
How did you react to it?
It didn't really affect me that much. You know, people don't realize this, but a smoker is less likely to catch that than a non-smoker. I don't know if you realize that.
I've heard that, but I don't know about that though, because when I had it the first time, oh hell, it was bad. And I'm a smoker.
We caught it. We caught it when we were smoking.
3 weeks.
I didn't have an issue with it.
3 whole weeks.
I felt bad for a day and a half, maybe, and then came right out of it.
Shit,
that's kind of the way it was for us, other than the taste thing. She got her taste back in like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, it wasn't that long, but he was like a year.
Yeah.
That's the weird thing. Like the first time I had it, the taste came back, but it came back weird. Like everything came back all strange, and I still can't smell. One thing that pisses me off that I can't smell, and it really makes me mad, is come springtime when everything's fresh and brand new and the air's all great, I go to breathe it in to smell it. It's not there anymore. Pisses me off. I can only smell very extreme things now.
Well,
the doggone girl is mine.
Strange, man, strange. At least it isn't. At least it isn't the. Anyway, we want to stay away from that so they don't demonetize. Just stay away from that. Like you're better off talking about polls in Britain, right?
Wait, Tara, I will do that. I've already screenshot what you were talking about. We do have a test here somewhere for that. So I keep saying I'm going to find it, but that's how concerned I am about.
Here, I have one. You can have it. Here you go.
There you go.
I don't see him.
I think he's flashing his D.
Oh, like we bought one for the kid, and it came with 2, and I only gave her 1. It was negative, so.
Yeah, so I don't know. But life is awesome. Whatever is wrong isn't wrong enough for us all to smile, laugh, and have a good time.
Great Pearl. She always cracks me the hell up. Sarge and I agree again. Smokers do handle that better because our lungs are like Lieutenant Dan saying, "You call that a storm?"
Well, shit, I'm going to put this vape down and grab that pack of cigarettes.
No, you're not. You can go outside.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Shit's, look, I'm trying to tell you, New Year's, I was excited. We were both sitting here, and I was like, I'm just drunk enough that I kind of want to smoke a cigarette. and watch these fireworks in Nevada or whatever. That's where Vegas is, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It is.
And he lit them cigarettes, and I was like, "Oh, I got to go." Like our house, like this bedroom smelled so bad for like 3 days. I was like, I can't believe I ever did that. Religiously smoked. Nope, never again.
I got a friend in our car group, and he lost both of his legs below the knee. And he came into the shop one day, and he's gets out of his car and he pulls up his pants and he shows everybody, look, I got legs that are made of titanium. And from that point on, we started calling him Lieutenant Dan. And that's his name now. Lieutenant Dan. It's crazy. It's
I don't know. I can tell you one thing.
What?
I don't trust Dylan Mortensen.
Really?
No.
I would have never
Oh,
thought.
are you trying to bring it back?
I
In closing, I do not trust Dylan Mortensen.
That's going through my head a lot. Like, I just sit here and randomly think of Dylan. Like, that's crazy.
She's got a strange, sinister looking smile on her a lot of times.
Doesn't she? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, man.
Like, and I
She's
know
got-
you're not supposed to judge people because of the way they look, but she looks like, I don't know how to explain, like a
What are we
snake.
giving eyes for? I don't understand these people that keep saying don't you judge me. Of course you make
What?
judgments. Every day you make judgments. Every second of your life you're making judgments based on visual cues. Right? I don't know. It's just I don't know.
I don't know. Somebody said Bethany too. I don't know. I can't find enough about her from that night or just in general to even say that with her because she was not included in this for some reason.
Well,
At least
Nothing.
not with what we see, I should say. I'm sorry.
Nothing half-assed. Did you hear the latest album they released of his music?
No.
If not, you need to look it up on Spotify. It's called 6 Feet Under.
Oh dang. From Michael Jackson?
Yeah.
She's full of
That's
shit.
the name of
Sarge.
his album, 6 Feet Under?
Oh, sorry. She's full
No,
of shit.
it's a joke.
Oh,
Let me
okay.
tell you something. I'm gonna tell you
You-
something. My
Oh,
best
you.
friend at the time when Michael Jackson died, like I was really good friends. He was my best friend growing up. Well, I became really good friends with his wife, and me, her, and another girl, we were at his house just hanging out with the kids or whatever. Like we had play dates with the kids and we would just hang out all day. This fool comes home that night, and when he gets out of the truck, he is crying. I'm talking about like, and I have never seen this man cry. We have been friends since I was like 12 years old. And literally, she sees him and she's like, "Oh my God, what's wrong?" And he's like, "I don't want to talk right now." And he goes in the house, changes clothes, comes back out, and he's still just bawling, crying. And he finally is like, "Yo, I'm not in the mood. Like Michael Jackson died." And we're like, we start clowning him. We start laughing, right? Like, dude, are you being for real? First, we didn't believe him. Then we found out he really died. So then we went to the store. Okay, we go to the grocery store 5 minutes before the bakery shut. Thank God, because I got them to write R.I.P. Michael Jackson. We will miss you on the cake, right? And we didn't have a candle, so I lit a cigarette and put it in the cake for a candle. It was freaking hilarious. He was so like gone, like he was like laughing, but you could tell he was just hurt. I was like, okay. He was like, I mean, you got to understand. He's like, that's like the black people Elvis. Look at how y'all got over Elvis. He's like, that's me right now. I was
Well, you know
like,
what's
okay.
funny is there's been a number of people that have been accused of these sexual allegations 20 plus years after. And they're people that in most cases are going against the grain of what is considered the establishment. And it's never really, if you notice, nobody connected to Epstein is in trouble. But for instance, if you disagree with that gang, then they create these stories and get witnesses to come forward 20, 30 years after they claim it happened. And I just think that it's horrific what they did to Cosby, what they did to Jackson and others. It's not just those two. There's other people they've done this to. And it's like, I don't know, man, it's insane. It's unfair. And I don't know. If somebody's done something to me like that, or anybody offends me, I like, that's why a lot of us have a hard time understanding 8 hours between the call. If you were awake during the incident and then you entered frozen shock phase because you knew the person crossing your path shouldn't be there and they terrified you, explain to me how it took you 8 hours to notify the police. You can't really make sense of it. You're
No,
just
you
supposed to
can't.
have what she says it, so that's what's happened. And it's like they don't have to prove nothing. But if you're the accused, you got to prove not only you're innocent, but 7.888 billion others didn't do it. There's just one guy that did it. You got to find that guy to prove yourself innocent. It's insane, man. It really is. The system is so bent.
I don't know. Like I think I'm with you, Sarge, on you can't. There's something that like just is so off with the fact that you see somebody strange in your house. You're hearing all these noises that do not make a darn lick of sense, like somebody wrestling with the dog. It is 4 a.m.
Without those
You know what
noises,
I
do you
mean?
think do you think that the frozen shock phase isn't connected to the noises?
No.
Okay. So we agree on that, right? So it's a combination of the noises and seeing this man in black. That put you in the
Right.
frozen
And it's
shock
like
phase,
but you
right?
don't do anything. You do nothing.
In a world where the phone is virtually implanted into especially young girls like that.
Yep.
Okay, let's be true. Go look on all these different sites with girls. They're all these young white college girls. They can't even roll over in bed without holding their phone. It's insane. And yet this girl didn't use her phone to alert for friends, neighbors, police. Yeah.
Well, that's
so
the other
what I mean.
side of it too with her story. There's no time that you wake up. It was around 4 o'clock. Like, you know darn good and well, if you woke up in the middle of the night,
You knew what time
you're
it was.
looking at your phone.
Listen, if I get up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, I know what time it is before I get back in bed, just by walking by where the phones are plugged in. You can't help but not see it. My phone flashes on and off constantly. I don't know why, but it does, even when it's not in use. Plugged into the charger.
Tara blackmailed her with what? Like what are they gonna, like, what kind of threat outside of saying I'm gonna end your life? You know what I mean? Like what are you?
Who blackmailed her?
That Tara said she doesn't believe she heard what Ellie claims that she heard. She believes that they blackmailed her, and I'm like, but with what?
Her life.
And you're thinking that law enforcement blackmailed her, or like?
Yeah, that's what she's saying. Which, I mean, hey, maybe.
I don't know.
But
I think that if they were smart, they both would have had nothing to say and said they slept through it. But that's not what they did.
I do agree with that. But however, I think a guilty person, you know how many times I've seen this on Snap? Some lady is like, this man just came up in here and shot my husband. She'll go break a window. And it'll be the kids or something will say, well, the sound of the window happened after the gunshot. And then they'll find out the glass was broken from the inside. But she got a description about a guy that was in that house. Is all I'm saying.
A guy that conveniently entered the property with no obvious signs of forced entry.
And just happens to be walking by your door.
Went through locked bedroom doors.
Well, I don't know about the locked doors. I mean,
those doors all had individual locks on them. Every bedroom had its own lock.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they're locked. Like, that's an assumption, right?
They weren't coded locks.
Yeah, they weren't coded locks either. They're just regular doorknobs.
Nonetheless, those doors are capable of being locked. So you got to
right,
come in.
But you're assuming that they went to bed with their doors. I don't think they did. I don't think they locked their damn doors at nighttime. They don't have anything to be afraid of.
That may be true. Yeah, I'm not going to disagree. You could be, yeah. We don't know that they left them unlocked either, right? So the question bounces both ways.
The only people I could see potentially locking their door, maybe like on occasion, would be Xana and Ethan, right? If they wanted to, bow chicka wow wow, you know what I mean? Like if they were doing that in their relationship. We don't know if they were or weren't. I'm not saying they were.
Or if the bathroom was on the common floor, but it was down the hallway by their bedroom. Their bedroom probably multiple times were mistaken for the bathroom. So in other words, I could see a lot of reasons why she would keep her door locked, whether she was in there with Ethan or not. You had to go down to her hallway, right to her door to get into the bathroom.
I
So
would
if
say if
somebody
they were
was in the house,
partying or something. Yeah,
Well, I'm
but
just
that
saying-
night, no.
Well, we don't know. We don't know. I don't know if she wouldn't have been in the habit of locking that door because her door was adjacent to the bathroom. So that them two doors could have been mistaken one way or the other over.
Didn't we talk about something before where the house doors weren't locked?
Well, that's if you watch that interview with Christy, that lady says, "Why wasn't the door locked? Why wasn't the door locked?"
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like they know already that sliding glass door was unlocked.
Or they're being told that.
Right. I
Right.
mean, irregardless, that would be what I'm saying. They know.
So
that's.
But then throw in the DoorDash delivery. She got a DoorDash delivery around 4 o'clock. It's confirmed by whoever that DoorDash person is. So somebody opened an entryway into that home. That would be the implying that person then didn't lock it if they used the back door. If they went to the front door, then apparently they left it wide open all night because it was seen open by a neighbor at 8:30 in the morning.
Why do you think that, Odie Blue?
I think
Because like Clue just said, that was in that interview, and I think it didn't even Olivia say that something about forgetting to lock the door or something.
Yeah, like Olivia and Christy both have made statements that allude to one of the doors to enter that house was unlocked.
Right. That's what I thought.
The problem is we don't know, and it's if any doors were locked or which doors were locked, if any doors locks were defective or damaged. We don't have any facts to support any of it. So
what we do
you
know,
know, the whole point comes down to
what we do know is 3 days after this happened, they issued search warrants for AT&T and Inland Cellular for 3 to 5 a.m., a very specific time frame. 3 days after.
Right.
And that to me is a huge problem when the premise of that, of how you got to that time frame, had to be heavily weighted on the statement from one of the two people that survived this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that tells me that you have completely eliminated her as a suspect, or you're specifically looking for that to see if you can find anything to back up her claim. In either case, I can't help but look at it as that they missed the mark there.
Somebody just got a super chat. Somebody just got a super chat.
Are you able to throw that up, Clue? Because I can't. I don't have any control. Just for a quick second.
I can't throw it.
Thank you. What makes it worse is that they called the Sigma Chi boys first before the police. Didn't they need the toilet or the kitchen trailer? That we've definitely talked about that quite a bit, actually.
What is
the not using the bathroom for 8 hours?
Oh, you know? Yeah.
And the fact that they did call the frat or whoever they called over first. So yeah,
Bethany's bathroom would have been downstairs though. Bethany wouldn't have had any need to come upstairs unless she needed
every floor had a bathroom.
Right. So there's that, right? Thank you, Huda, very much. I appreciate that so very much. And that's something everybody's asked. Like who doesn't go to the bathroom for an 8-hour period of time? Hell, I'm up every 2 hours max, you know.
Well, and I think the hard part, you know, to me, the obvious answer to that is Dylan didn't have to go to the bathroom upstairs, because what they came out initially and said was in fact true to some degree, that both the surviving roommates were downstairs when 911 was called, right?
Well,
like I think Dylan left her bedroom after. I think Dylan went downstairs after all this was over and was down there with Bethany, and I think that could be something related to what Bethany's exculpatory evidence is.
I wondered that.
Yeah.
I do wonder too.
She
It's a
might
good
have come
point.
down there covered in blood.
No, or she just may have come down there to seek the comfort or to I mean, but she may just have gone down there to be with somebody because she was scared.
Right.
I wouldn't argue
But
with
if
that.
you were
But
scared, then why not call the damn
I
police?
know. Why not search the house? Now you got your friend.
Like, if you got to go somewhere else to find some comfort, then you ought to be on the phone with the law. Period. There is no excuse for that in my mind.
Don't forget the text messages between the two during that kind of period of time. That still bothers me a lot.
Well, so we don't know for sure that it was text messages or phone call. What we know is that forensic downloads of both of their phones. They never specifically
But they
say.
did say from conversations and the downloads.
Steve said that they were communicating between each other during the commission of this. That was
Right. But if you look to you're leaving out that first part where they communicated to police what they communicated, and then the police went and got downloads, and those two are what summed up the timeline combined.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm with what you're saying. I'm not convinced. I'm not 100% convinced that it was text messages between them. I think it's likely, but I don't think that's a definitive thing, right? And I have to look at it that way because it's another part of the PCA which I have question about every piece of it. So I can't, in fairness, look at that and not question it too.
Right. Right. We don't know that they were texting. I agree with you 100%. Whatever data was on that phone, you would think that they wouldn't have needed a data download to have got it off. They should have been able to, Dylan, I bet that he could have showed them the phones.
Well, and
Right.
here's the other side of what makes me just go absolutely insane is in the interviews with the Gonzalez's, Steve says that they tried to call the roommates. If you just heard wrestling upstairs, crying downstairs, and you're calling the roommates, I wish he would have clarified if it was at night or in the morning.
Yeah.
If it was at night and they weren't answering, that's a problem for me.
Well, any of that, when they said that they tried to contact all of the roommates, and Christy said there was no missed calls or messages, so that's being dishonest, in my opinion.
Oh, see, I don't remember her saying that. I just remember
She
Steve
said
saying that they tried to call the girls.
They brought it up in an interview, and they asked her. They said it was said that Dylan had tried to contact Kaylee specifically, and or the other roommates, and sorry, Christy said no. They checked the phone, and there were no missed calls. Period. That I thought we were together when we watched that. Maybe not. It was interesting. That was surprising to me. Thank you, Mama. I don't know.
That can't be accurate. That cannot be accurate because the other young girl in the interview says she called Kaylee and Kaylee didn't get back to her.
What does that have to do with what I said?
Well, then there would be a missed call.
Yeah.
No. She said there were no missed calls from her.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I thought I said that. That's my fault.
Yeah, but to be fair, I can't even say that. I 100% can believe that. Like, what is Dylan saved in her phone as?
I don't know.
Do you see what I mean? Like, you don't necessarily.
I would imagine Dylan,
but it would still show this as a missed call, regardless if she's saved or not.
Well, I mean, what Sarge just said is 100% true. Someone else on an interview said that they called her. So it's like, if there's just random calls, like,
she was very specific in that interview, the way she was asked, and then, oh, thank you, Mama. And then she was very specific, I should say, because it was being a very specific question, and I thought that was quite interesting. Did you see that interview?
I don't know, but Jenny just said, I think DTS said Christy took that back.
She did. Okay. I didn't know that, but okay.
Dago, the only reason I interjected that was because you had said that there were no missed calls or texts. And so that's why I interjected.
I didn't
But there-
clarify.
Yeah, that's all. She may have meant there were no missed calls or texts from the other roommates to them. Right?
And see, Eric is that's what I'm talking about. Like the contacts, sometimes you'll put nicknames for them. So like if you're just solely looking for Dylan, then and she's called, I don't know, like cum dumpster. Guess what? You didn't see that.
Well,
Sorry to be so vulgar. I'm just couldn't think of anything else at that moment. Legs.
That's that filter you're so effective at using.
Doppler.
Oh, and the other part of what I was talking about, Tara's right, was during the commission of the crime. In the other interview, Steve said that he knew for a fact that they were, and those were his words. He knew for a fact that they were. I swear he said texting. He may not have though. They were texting back and forth during the commission of the crime. I thought that was kind of wow. Okay. I'll have to go back and look at that interview. It was one of the newer ones, I do believe. Maybe a couple months ago.
All right.
So if that's, let's say that is true, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's still, I mean, and I hate to say this, but it is what it is, based on what we've seen in the PCA and kind of debunking some of the pieces of it. If they were texting between 4 a.m. and 4:20, that still doesn't mean that they were texting during the commission of the crime. That means that they were texting at that time, and it's presumed that the time of the crime was at that time.
Right, because I've said before, like I could see Dylan texting Bethany and saying something like, "There was just this random dude in here."
Yeah, and I mean, it could have,
and Bethany could have calmed her the heck down. You know what I mean?
Maybe it was Ethan. He could have said something like that, leaving. Right? Someone just walked by my door. Maybe it was Ethan leaving. Oh, okay. Right? Bethany could have said that to Dylan.
Or something, right?
Arguing. I don't know. There's a lot of things that have been said that I don't take like rumors that I hear from other people. I try to take the things that the family says as what it is. So
yeah, I feel bad for families. I don't know. We'll see that the next hearing's coming up in 2 weeks, right from today.
Yeah,
and that hearing should provide fruit as far as giving us some understanding of deadlines for discovery, deadlines for motions to compel, motions to argue inadmissibility of evidence. And that should be very interesting to see how that stuff unfolds. And I hope he puts a strong, 90-day or 60-day time limit on some of this stuff, because this needs to be unwound and it needs to be resolved.
It's in the book. Interesting. You read that book, AG?
Unknown caller is back. Who's this unknown caller that keeps coming into your streams?
I don't know, but there's like 50 of them. You'll block one and then another one will show up. It's obviously a troll.
There's a bunch of them.
That's weird.
And they're always like, "What's the call-in number? Can I call in? I want to call in. I got something to say. What's the call-in number?" Shut the up.
Now they don't call in. So what did you? Okay, you read the book, AG. What was your thoughts on the book? Well, that chapter of the book, because that's the only chapter. It's one chapter, from what I understand, right?
Dear God,
babe.
Damn.
Everybody just heard that.
That's the smartest thing you've ever said.
Oh my God. What do you say?
About what?
You just shit yourself.
No, it didn't.
Okay, lie again in this house.
That was just air.
Go away. Go away for real.
That's the smartest thing you ever said, Cletus.
You know you don't do that on Valentine's Day. See, now you ain't getting Valentine's, you know what? You
Oh,
dirty
God.
dog. And Dago is crippled now, losing his mind
Dear God.
over
Son,
your
I
ass
thought-
gas.
I thought I taught you better than that, son.
Dago is wrecked. Like, what in the world? That was the fiance, y'all.
Listen,
Just
I've done that twice in supermarkets with a girl I was with at the time. 2 different girls, 2 different times. And I let out a loud blaster and turned at her and said, "That's the nastiest thing you've ever done in public." And the looks that she was getting from people, and I stomped away, shaking my head like, my God, how? And that's just, but to do it across an open mic, Cletus, oh my God.
he was in the living room.
It got so quiet. It got so quiet, and then it sounded like a duck running.
He was walking in the living room, literally. Had just walked out of here.
My God.
But that's probably why he did it, because he knows better than to do it beside me, because I'll hit him.
That was great. That was great. I needed that laugh. Oh God. Listen, my son was in the living room and went, "What the hell?"
That was so gross. Like, what is wrong with you? Is your stomach upset?
The man is sick, but still, he, I don't know.
What do you mean? That was so loud.
Okay.
Everybody had just shut up, by the way.
I mean, what do you want me to say?
Well,
He's sick, by the way. He is sick.
More came out of his ass than he said in the whole stream.
That wasn't directed. That wasn't about you, Pisces. It was about a troll that keeps coming in and out of here.
My God, that's just over the top, Cletus. But yeah, don't worry.
You guys can't
Dago
do
was
that.
gone.
You can't do
Like,
that kind of stuff to me.
You literally wrecked him.
Oh, my bad. Somebody said clinch and whistle. What?
A Clinton whistle.
Because it was too quiet. If it wouldn't have been that quiet, it would have been different. But it was like dead silent, and then all had.
When I was very little, my stepbrothers and sisters and I took our father's reel to reel and would record passing gas, and then play it back at different speeds. It was crazy.
I feel bad for you, bro. I know you ain't feeling good, and that shit. You probably holding that shit for hours.
Someone needs to go wash their ass. Somebody's saying.
No, it literally just shook loose the moment I stood up.
That was
anyway, moving on.
Did you
It
sneeze
sounded
at the
like
same
an
time?
angry duck. Like, I'm not kidding.
I can promise you that my nose and my asshole are not connected. Proof
I don't know about that. They're getting close.
My nose is still clogged.
You're so gross. Stop talking right now.
He's full of shit.
Oh,
Oh my God.
oh, my bad.
There's
I
something
didn't
wrong
mean
with
to
all of us.
sidetrack
We are
things.
mental defects in some shape or form.
I hope you at least feel better, bro.
Oh, I do.
Especially after that.
Okay.
I told you he's in the other, especially after that. Yeah, he's in the other room and was like, "What the hell was that?"
You know what's
Oh,
funny
yeah.
is I get a kick out of any women that have an issue with that in fact is one of the ways they reduce some of their cramp pain is by passing gas. Okay, you ain't kidding us. And then you blame the
I'll
dog.
be honest
And
with
we
you.
all got to clear the house. We're like, that wasn't the dog.
As bad as men's gas is at times, I think women's are worse because they hold them so long.
Oh,
And when they happen, I'm not lying to you guys. I was in Walmart. This is hilarious. I was standing in Walmart in the men's section one time, okay? And I'm looking at clothes, and the way our Walmart set up is the dressing room was like behind me, and the women's section was right over here. So I was looking at something, and this woman was right behind me looking at something else. And I turned and went to go walk past, and I swear to you, clear as day, I heard loud. It was loud, but okay. And I stopped and went. And just as I turned this direction, she turns and looks at me and goes, And as soon as she made that face, it was like, boom, right in the face. And I about fell over. And I was not trying to be rude because I knew she did it. And I could not control my face. It was that bad. And I tasted it and it started, my skin started.
Oh,
Jago. Oh my God. I'd have punched
It was
her in the
that
face.
bad. And I'm standing there trying not to be, I didn't want to embarrass her any more than she probably already was. And I literally almost threw up as I was standing there. It was that bad. I just turned around very slowly and I looked in the direction where my wife was and started walking. And I just, once I got closer to my wife and I turned back and the woman's standing there staring at me like this. And I'm thinking like, what? She's like, what's wrong with you? And I said, that lady just died over there. It was horrible. Horrible.
When I fart in the presence of other people, I always remind them to keep breathe through your nose. This way you won't taste it. Like you nasty bastard.
It was that bad. It was that bad.
So they want me.
All I'm saying is it wasn't the worst thing an asshole has ever said on your show.
It's a that was good. It's a natural thing and it's not healthy to hold it in. I know all that stuff. You know, that's why I didn't want to embarrass this person. Yes, I see you, unknown.
All right, I'm gonna play this.
Why is this unknown? What is your deal, unknown caller? What is this incessant? You got to keep coming back, and
I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it.
I know you're not worried about it, but
it ain't that serious.
Are y'all watching?
I can't see anything.
You're not sharing it on.
Oh, whoops.
Oh, now, Cluey do.
We don't want pictures of his ass.
Cluey Louie. Cluey.
Oh, that lightning was nice.
There we go.
Right?
What is that? What's that all about?
What are we watching?
Sigma Chi Rush video 2023.
That's a good one. True Sleuth and Earn.
That kind of remind me of Primus a little bit. The voice.
I never seen it before, and I don't know.
That was one of their Rush videos, I think.
What does that mean, Rush?
I think the music.
They rush to become part of the fraternity.
Oh. Well, they're musical. That's good for them. Good.
That was the Violent Femmes? No way.
I missed the truck in there.
I thought that was Cage the Elephant.
Ah, there you go. That sound. The voice kind of reminded me of what's his name from Primus. But
why I wear boxer briefs.
When I'm a walking, I strap my stuff and I'm on.
Well, you two streamers.
I wonder what the significance of the 13 is.
Well, there's no 13th floor in a hotel, or
wasn't that the address on the building?
Unlucky number.
I don't
significance the 13.
Like it looks like it's inside somewhere.
But I thought that was the address on the building. It looked like it was on an address placard, but I might be wrong. Isn't that outside?
No, because it says visitor right there.
Let me go on like a blister in the sun.
It's just a number on a doorway.
Sigma Chi's address is 735 Nez Pierce Drive, so it's not.
Yeah, I don't know what that would mean then.
Yeah, it would be a room inside the building, 13. That's all. I don't know why that's.
Jennifer said each room has its own number, the address. Okay. Room number 13. I wonder whose room that is then, or was.
Well, listen, all this grand educational experience that we've had here tonight. It's been wonderful.
Oh, thank God you're leaving.
And Dago has just been amazing. And that filter, he has great control of his filter. I won't mention anyone else that doesn't.
Feel the love tonight.
Oh my, here we go. Thank God you didn't take music as your major.
I'm sorry, Candy. I don't know why that's been happening to a lot of people. Somebody told me that if you unsubscribe and resubscribe, that it helps to bring the notifications back. I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway,
We're stopping it anyway, Sarge. So
well, I was just going to say goodnight. It's been a pleasure up until the last comment Clue made. You know, so there's that. Dago,
blow it.
take
Yes.
care of that D on your head. Cletus, wipe that ass, boy. And Clue, work on that filter.
Yeah, we're gonna do that soon. Nothing half-assed. A bunch of people have been asking me for that, so it's coming up.
Why are you two literally, I swear, why are y'all arguing back here in the back chat?
Who?
You and him. Sarge.
Oh, you
Me?
mean Dago? Well,
This is Dago. Sarge, I'm a kind man. I'll have you know. Bullshit.
It says private chat. Do you see the header?
Mhm.
All right, it's Arilla. Listen.
Oh, because I called him a dick. You know how we go
Yeah,
back
for
and
a reason.
it's
Do you
whatever.
see? Do you see what I have to? You see what I have to police all day, and then
Your
when
ass
Cletus
every
is,
day. We do it all day, every day. He knows
when
he's a
Cletus
dick.
is feeling better, I have 3 of them.
So are you saying you're now
No,
policing
no,
this?
sweetie.
Yeah,
Listen
I'm
to
the
me.
one
Dago.
policing YouTube.
Dago wants to play the innocent victim. Give him his moment.
No. Cletus don't get in that. He just listens. You're the one that's in there with me and him arguing back and forth.
I don't argue, I'll have you know.
Mhm.
Well, someone's got to tell you the truth.
Wait a minute,
so
wait a
I
minute, wait a
have
minute,
to
wait a
be
minute.
there.
Wait a minute. Hold the hell on. Did you just say you don't argue?
Oh, hell
Yes, he
no.
did.
Why would I?
Listen, move over, guys, because that lightning's about to hit him right between his fucking eyes.
Ooh, it's 4.
What do you say? He did swear that. Hey, give me your finger.
Ooh,
You know,
you get him,
if those in the
Dago.
jar.
Look, he's wagging his finger and everything.
Make it a monster.
Don't be making them lies now, Sarge.
What do you call it? You need to do some breakdancing with that hat and t-shirt.
I know. Doesn't he look like he's trying to be like Fred Durst's dad?
Somebody.
Well, I got to be his dad.
Okay,
'Cause you're
Grandpa.
old.
What did you want from me?
It's just one of those days.
I was just trying to make a nice, polite exit, but that doesn't seem to be possible ever.
Babe, you got to help me with this chair.
What's wrong with it?
My feet don't touch the floor. And I'm
So
thick of
lower
it.
it.
Help her. Cletus, pull it out from behind her when she goes to sit down.
Stretch your legs.
That's not the. You're gonna break it. That's not the button.
Oh, we'll pull the other one.
You guys are shot. All right, you guys work on the chair. There you go.
No, I'm not gonna
It's
do
it's been an honor.
I know it.
Yeah,
has.
we're gonna go
You're
too,
welcome.
so we can watch TV before we go to sleep.
Yeah.
You are
yeah.
welcome, Sarge, for being able to be in my presence tonight. Anytime you ask, it's perfectly fine.
You're
yeah,
awesome.
right. Like they're not gonna get off here and call on the phone.
Good night, Mr. Hanson.
He's laughing.
calling
See, Sarge
shit.
knows. Yeah, right.
Everybody in
Night,
the chat room, thank you for joining us from my side of things. I appreciate you guys very much. And the Clue crew, you guys are awesome. Thank you for having me here tonight. I appreciate you very much.
Of course.
Good night, everybody.
Same with us. Good night, everybody. Thank you for stopping by, and we will
Have a great
see
night,
you
folks. Guys,
next
don't forget to
time.
love yourselves, love each other, and don't change a thing about yourselves because you're the beautiful people. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
What he said. Love everybody and yourself
Bruh.
or whatever.
Bruh.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
It's hard to breathe, but that's I wanna taste your content attention, devils hide.